What up, YouTube? You already know it's your favorite bean eating mofo, fresh off that banana boat. Big Loot, NFCR2, baby. First time you're coming to the channel, be highly appreciated if you sub, liked, and shared the channel with your family, friends, folks, peoples, gente, associates, socials, comrades, camaradas, buddies, pals. You know what I mean? And feel free to comment. I respond back to all the comments. I'll wait a few minutes before I kick this gun off. As you can tell from the thumbnail, this is well, what that picture is of the thumbnail. If anybody's wondering, that is a 270 design building, which is majority for level 3 prisoners here in California. And basically, what that means is from the tower in the building, what they call, they can see at a 270-degree angle, right? Level 4s are 180s, where it's the same building, but inside the building there's walls. There's walls that break it into sections. And but there's still some 270 design buildings, which I said majority of them are for level 3s. There are some yards that'll have level 4 inmates in a level 3 design building, because like I said, a 180 is always going to be level 4. You'll never have a 180 design building with level 3s or level 2s or any other level. 180 will always be level 4s in California. But there are some level 3 design buildings, which we call 270s, that they house level 4s. For example, one I remember is that comes off the top of my head is, I believe, Pleasant Valley A Yard. Pleasant Valley A Yard is level 4, but it's a 270 design building. Rich DM 650. What's happening? So as you guys already know, I've been saying different things here and there on different videos and lives that I'm going to be in the works of, bringing the channel more up to par. You know what I'm saying? As far as, I already did the thumbnails on the pre-recorded videos. I took care of that. Today I downloaded an app where instead of me doing it the ghetto style like I have been doing, like when I do my bad, when I do shorts, when I do some shorts, sometimes I'll take one phone and I'll record with the other phone, right? And I see some guys do it too with their phones and their laptops. They record off their laptops. But I downloaded an app today, so I got to start playing with the app to figure it out how to how to do that, where I'm able to record something and put my, record through the app on my phone and then react to it. You know what I'm saying? So I downloaded that app today. So I'm going to start messing around with it and figuring out how it's done. Bella, hello. TX Royal Flowers, howdy, from the Republic of Texas. Yeah, I see old Beto lost, huh? Old Beto O'Rourke lost. I think Governor Abbott still, I don't even know who he went up against. I believe it was Abbott. Abbott was the incumbent, right? I believe he won the gubernatorial race there in Texas. So yeah, so I'm gonna be. I already reached out to somebody about the intros. Hopefully, that's good to hear. You're feeling better. That's good to hear. So I already reached out to somebody about the intros, and then Rich is here. We were messaging back and forth about some banners and doing some things like that, because all that stuff's got to help, right? Your channel, when people go to your channel and they see it's not up to par. And what I mean by that is like everything's ghetto, like some of the things I've been doing, right? Like as far as recording with one phone to the other phone, it's better when you can do it on your own screen and then have yourself in the corner right there or whatever. Also, I was going through Instagram and I ran across somebody's page, and there was a picture of me there with 2 other individuals, and I was like, damn. And it was like an animation type deal. I don't know who did it, but I cropped it and I posted it on my community post. It looks dead on like me. I mean, check it out. You know what I mean? I asked for everybody's input, what they thought about it. So those bunks. So you see the guys in the thumbnail, they're lined up in front of their doors. I don't know what they're lined up for, because I've never been to a pen where you line up like that, unless they're lining them up for they're waiting to go in from yard or something like that, and the doors haven't been popped yet, because that's what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to go stand in front of your door when you're trying to get in. So maybe that's what they're doing. Either it was yard recall and they just came in, or day room recall. If maybe there was no yard and they're running day room, they're waiting to get in their cells. But you can see guys that are on their bunks too, right? So them all those guys on their bunks tells me there might be count time, but I don't know why the guys are standing in front of the doors. I've never been to a pen where you have to stand in front of your door. Usually you got to stand up inside your cell, and that's usually the 4 o'clock count. That's mandatory. 4:30. Well, I've been to places where we get counted at 4 o'clock, and I've been to places we get counted at 4:30, and count doesn't clear until all the prisons in California are cleared. So once they do their the cops in each building do their count, they call in the count to control. Anybody that's working during that hour of count, so you would be that would be a PM count. Anybody that's working would be either usually really in the kitchen. That's it. They're already on an out count sheet, right? And so each building cop calls in after they do the count, and usually the cops walk together and they count simultaneously, and that way when they stop and finish at the end, they compare each other's count. And then what they usually do is not usually, this is how it goes. They call in control at that joint, that prison, and they say, okay, CR facility C building 2 has, okay, so there's 101 to 101 to 150 on the bottom, 201 to 250 on top. So that's 50 cells. So that's 100 guys, each top, bottom. So that's 200. Okay, so they might be, okay, C facility building 2 has 160, for example, right? So then what happens is control calls in Sacramento, and they get the count from all the pins in California, fire camps, everything, fire camps, CCFs, everything. And then once this count's clear, then it'll be clear. You know what I'm saying? It's a national, statewide thing. Because anybody goes, any escapes, anything like that, they'll probably slam us down. Sometimes too, certain executions and stuff like that, they'll slam all the prisoners down. Like when Tookie Williams was executed, I remember they slammed all the Crips. I think it was just the Crips. I don't remember no Bloods ever saying anything about that. I just remember the Crips. They slammed all the Crips while they executed them. Okay, so those guys that are sitting on their bunks, those bunks, they went by 2 different names. They went by either E bunk, which stand for emergency bunk, or it went by T bunk, which stand for temporary bunks. And what they did was they moved the benches and they moved the benches for the TV over, which is considered a day room, and they put the bunks there. They put 10 bunk beds, right? So that's 20 guys. And then on C side and A side. So that's a total of 20 bunks. So that's equals 40 guys max, right? So because all the crowding, overcrowding, they had all the guys in the living like that. And then all the gyms were full. The gyms that weren't for people to sleep in. It was for gym, to go play basketball, to play. Sometimes they'd have ping pong tables in different places I've been to. Sometimes they might do some type of some type of calisthenic things. I don't know. They didn't get too many people like that because of the fact of all the politics. Basketball, it was like, I've only been to one place where the gym was open for basketball, and that was after they started. They closed the gyms down from housing people in them. And that was weird too. They would only allow 2 teams in there, three on 3. So 6 people were allowed in there at one time. So basically, when we went in there, it was always just us and blacks. That's it. We wouldn't go in there with nobody else because of the politics in California, prison politics, right? You're not allowed to play physical sports with other group segments, right? The so-called enemies, right? Oppositions. And the reason being is because, when you're playing basketball, that's a physical sport. People get fouled, and then people tend to take things personal, and then all of a sudden, boom, it kicks off a riot over that. So the way to alleviate all that is just, okay, we're not doing it. You know what I'm saying? And I remember stories of back in the day too, in the 70s, when they still had boxing programs in the prison system, California prison system, that there were the two group segments, the two Latin group segments at that time, would line up on different sides of the ring to watch what was going on. And when the main dude, for one of them, he showed up at that prison, he said, "Oh, no, we're not doing that no more." And that was just, partly security breach type thing within your collective. You know what I'm saying? So they stopped that. They stopped that, and that came from a guy that got interviewed. That, well, I don't know if you really want to call it an interview. He was asked some questions, but he had did 48 years, and he went down, I think, in 69 or 70, and he just got out like 2019, I think it was 2018, 2019. He did 48 years straight, and he only came in with a 16-month sentence on a felony joyriding conviction, and he turned that into 48 years. And one of his crime partners who caught one of the murders with him, he put in 45 years, and he's been out for about 6 or 7 now, something like that. Anyways, it just shows you how serious it was back in the 70s with the certain movements people were with. And this is before things got geographically classified as far as North and South. All that didn't exist at that time. You had guys that were from Southern California that were part of the organization that they call now Northern California Organization, basically for Latinos. And then you had guys from up north that were actual members in the organization that they call now Southern California. I don't really like to say the names of the organizations. You can pretty much figure that out, Google it, whatever. The only time you'll catch me saying names is if it's old timers that ain't around, or they're not in the mix no more. I won't be naming people's names that are still pushing. You know what I'm saying? I don't, even though you can find this stuff on the internet, and I don't feel comfortable talking about certain things. Drito 5K, what's up with it, man? Yeah, so those were called E-bunks, and some places T-bunks. Now, there was times where, okay, so let me explain what happened to me. So I was a level 3, I had over, what I have, I had 29 points, I believe. No, I'm lying. I had 32 points. 32 points. And at that time, level 3 was 28 points to 51 points. And then a couple years later, they changed it, where level 3 was actually 36 to 61. They changed it by like 10. So at that time I was level 3, and I was not a high level 3 because my points, I had 32. So I was only like 4 over being a level 2 from a level 3. And what happened was, because of all the overcrowding, when you went to committee, your ICC or your UCC, your initial classification committee, they were putting people. Okay, so let me explain. So the E-bunks, it was called E-bunks at that place. I've heard of other places they were calling it T-bunks, but I never been to a place they call it T-bunks. So what would happen is, when you go to committee, they would put you up for 2 lists. Okay, education, education, which would be your GED, and they got different levels depending on how you scored on certain tests they gave you. I can't even remember the names of them right now, but there's like a 1, there's a 2, and then there's GED, right? So that's the education part. Then they'll put you on they'll put you on 2 out of 3 lists. So one's education, one's folk, where you learn trades, right, and get certificates, and then the other one is like support services, which is kitchen worker, yard crew, building porter, right? So they'll put you on 2 of those 3 lists. So again, let me explain it. Let me say it again, because it might get confusing. The education list is 1. So if you got a high school diploma and they already know you got a high school diploma, or you already have a GED and they already have it in your file, then you won't be put on that list. You'll just be put on support services, which is, again, kitchen worker, building porter, where you're mopping and sweeping up in the buildings. You pass out laundry, you collect laundry, you pass out supplies, meaning toilet paper, razors, and soap. Or what's the other one? Voc, which you go to Voc, you learn, different prisons have different things. Not all the prisons have the same things. So some prisons might have auto body, some might have mechanics, some might have HVAC, some might have welding, some might have what else did they have? plumbing, electrical, electrical stuff, and there's more. Those are just the ones I can remember off the top of my head. Hey, that's cool. They help you get a GED. You need that for it. Yeah. Well, luckily for me, I don't know what happened, bro, but the day I ended up taking a test in DVI in Tracy for that reason to find out where I needed to be put in school. But I told them right then and there I had a diploma. So they start, they tell me, okay, fill this out. So I fill out the information on where I went to school at, where I received it at. So next day I transpack. Transpack means you pack your shit up. A bag comes up. I said this in the last video. A bag comes under your door. It's a paper bag like you used to get in the grocery stores back in the day. It says your last name and it says your California Department of Correction number, and then it says your destination. So if you're going to Pelican Bay, it would say PBSP, Pelican Bay State Prison. If you're going to San Quentin, it'll say SQSP, San Quentin State Prison. If you're going to Avenal, it'll say ASP, Avenal State Prison. Okay, and then when count clears, this is when they put the bag on your doors right after they finish count. Once counts clears, your door will pop open. Depending where you're at in the housing unit, the wing, you'll walk down, and the property officer will be down at the end. And if you need more bags than that, then you tell them, hey, I need like 3 more bags. So then when they document all your stuff, they put it on the paper, the paperwork, what you got. It'll say bag 1 of 4, 2 of 4, 3 of 4, 4 of 4. Okay. And they put, food. They mark down all your hygiene items one by one. Like, in other words, if you got 3 toothpaste, it'll say 3 toothpaste, 2 deodorants, 2 deodorants, 3 shampoos, it'll say 3 shampoos. It'll say how many pictures you got, how many books you got. It'll say 1 pair of shower shoes. It'll say a cup, a bowl, one. Let's see. Other than that, your food, it'll just say food items. You know what I'm saying? They don't really break down the food items. So in other words, you got 300 soups, it's not going to say 300 soups. They don't count that like that. If you got 10 books, then it'll say 10 books. If you got 5 books, it'll say 5 books. If you got 25 pictures, it'll say pictures. I don't really remember if they really counted the pictures all the way, if it just said miscellaneous or various pictures or multiple pictures. I don't really remember that, because coming in from the county jail to the reception center, you're only allowed, I think, 15 pictures. Because I remember one time that I left the county jail, I had a ton of pictures, man. I had probably like, I probably had 50 pictures, 60, maybe even 100. I was there for 8 months that time, the county jail, fighting my case. So what happened was, I knew I was catching, I took my deal already. I knew any day within a week I was going to be gone. So what I did was I started mailing pictures home, and I just took 15 with me, the best 15 that I liked, whatever. I kept those, and then I sent the rest of them home. And then what happened was they had to get resent back into me once I got to the reception center. If you got writing paper, they put that. If you got 2 pens, 4 pens, they'll write down that. If you got say 15 stamp envelopes, it'll put down, they'll write down 15 stamp envelopes. Legal work, they'll say miscellaneous. On the miscellaneous section, they'll put legal work. So you box all that stuff up. Okay. So again, back to what I was saying about committee. When you go to committee, they put you on 2 or 3 lists. Okay. They also put you on at that time, like I was saying, the gyms were still going. They were housing people in the gyms. They no longer use the gyms no more. So there'd be 2 lists. So if you had the criteria for the gym, I believe it was 10 years and under. If you had 10 years and under, you're cleared for the gym. If you had 5 years and under, you were cleared for those e-bunks that were in the day room, like in the thumbnail, right? Okay, so sometimes there's some guys don't want to stay. They don't want to. For whatever reasons, they get misinformation. Sometimes, like I was saying before, yards flip, right? Yards flip. Sometimes a yard's good. And then say 6 months, 8 months later, it turns no good. They flip everything around. They ship people out, and then they start accepting different types of criteria for housing. Okay, so so for example, like Pleasant Valley, when we got there, they said we didn't fit the housing criteria, so we went straight to the hole. A non-disciplinary reason, right? Because we didn't get no 115s. 115 is a write-up. We didn't get no 115s. So they sent us to the hole. We went there for non-disciplinary reasons. And then eventually I want to say it was like maybe 8 months down the road, they ended up opening up B yard for us, and they shot out so many of us from the hole out to B yard. They didn't send all of us. They only sent like 20, I think it was 24 of us, something like that. 27, 23, 26, something like that. And what they did was they flopped the guys that were on the yard, 26 of them, 20, whatever they put out there, they brought them and put them in the hole. And they flopped them with some of us, okay? And then they programmed. And the reason why that was is because the so-called people that we couldn't program with, because they said we didn't fit the housing criteria. The housing mission is what they said on the 114 lockup order. The 114 lockup order is your California Department of Correction paperwork stating why you're being placed in AdSeg, right? Okay, so none of us signed it because, in our heads, we're like, you're saying that about us. We didn't say this. We're not agreeing to this. Put us out there. We can program with anybody because that's what you're supposed to, you're not supposed to sign nothing, because when you sign, you're admitting whatever's on that paper. So it's a no-no. So none of us signed it. There was like, there was about 8 of us, 10 of us, something like that. Let me think for a minute. Suspect, cartoon, Rooster. There was 6 of us. I'm counting 6, but someone's telling me there was more of us. Then again, this is like 12 years ago, or no, longer than that. This is in 07, so 15 years. This is 15 years ago. So what they ended up doing was they ended up eventually letting us out to B yard. So let me give you some background. So 1 yard was guys that weren't active. It was a general population yard, but they had guys from Fresno out there, right? And then they had guys that were supposedly our peoples, but they weren't functioning. They weren't they weren't following no guidelines. Just put it that way. And then B yard was the same thing. And A yard and D yard were PC yards. So B yard at that time was the same thing. That housed guys from Fresno, and the guys from our collective were out there. They weren't functioning. They weren't, living based off guidelines, household policies, right? Okay, so that's why they didn't put us out there, and they wouldn't give us a shot going out there because they said they checked our file, and where we came from, we were found guilty of found guilty of active gang activity. Yeah, okay. Right, sounds good. So they thought they were just going to creep up on us, and we were going to not creep up on us, but come to us with these 114 lockup orders for everybody, and everybody's going to sign it. So something tells me, I can't remember, but I think I was the first one they called, and I got my paper, or they called somebody else, and then he handed me the paper, and I read it to all of us inside there, and then we're like, oh no, we're good, and I gave it back, and none of us signed it, but we all still went to the hole. And then what ended up happening, there was an incident on that yard with cats from Fresno and dudes from Southern Cal. And so they end up slamming them. So now that gave slamming means they put them on lockdown, just them. So that gave us the opportunity to go out there. So we went out there, and if I remember right, them cats they sent out there, they programmed for about 6 months, and then it kicked off with them and the Fresno dudes. Okay, so just imagine that though. So when these guys go to those yards, some of the cats, especially the ones from LA, from Southern Cali, they don't want to be there, right? So what they'll do is when their doors pop, they'll just come out running, and they'll try to jump on anybody they can that's in those bunks. So you always got to be on your toes. I mean, you got to be on your toes anyways, living in that type of environment, but just imagine that, you know what I'm saying? So what happened was they end up, I remember hearing this, right? And they brought the guys in the hole where we're at, and they weren't too far from us. And I heard them talking to their peoples. They didn't really give a lot of details. They probably got at each other on paper, but they were just like, what happened? It just went down over there in whatever yard, and we got our money. That's all I heard. But I knew what that meant. You know what I'm saying? I know what that meant. And then they just and probably got at each other on paper. Not probably. They did. So they made a fishing line out of their sheets or something, They probably made a sloppy one real quick just to get to each other, the information that had to be passed on to each other. And then eventually you get yourself an extra pair of boxers, and you take it apart, the lining in the waistband, and you make what we call ghost line. And that line is so you can't even see it when you're fishing, but only thing that gives you away is that they see the COs, see the car that's on the end that you put on the end for weight. So when you throw it out underneath your door, that thing that we call the car is what gives you the weight so that it'll travel to where it's got to go. Okay. And then they'll see that, the COs, and they'll see whatever you got attached to it. So say you're running a book to somebody else, they'll see that book going down the corridor, and some of them will come running and try to snatch it up. They'll try to give you a write up, and they'll try to charge you for sheets, and you know they're too much. Some of these guys with that, they got nothing better to do to hide behind the corner all day. But see what they're trying to do? They're hoping that they catch you with something big on the line, you know, like some gang intelligence, like maybe you know, orders to move on somebody. You know, that's what they're hoping for. Because some of these guys want to work for the gang unit, some of these guys want to work for the security unit of the institution. How better than to show, hey, look what I got, look what I found, look what I caught these guys talking about. That's what they'll do, right? Um, so I have been on those bunks before. Um, they took me out of my cell with my cellie one time, and for whatever reason, I don't even know, but they left him in the cell in the building for by himself for like 2 weeks. I don't understand why they took me out. And if they were just going to leave him for 2 weeks, if that was the case, you could have left me in there for another 2 weeks, right? So anyways, I get moved out to a bunk, one of those bunks, and I'm down there and I'm by myself. I have no bunkie. And then eventually, like 2 weeks down the line, they send my cellie, old cellie, to another building, and he goes to go cell up with Spider, and then Spider cellie comes and bunks with me. And he was a big dude, big ass dude. Like he had 20-inch arms, easy. He had been down about 8.5 years, 9 years. He had about a year to go to going home. So just imagine that. You know what I'm saying? 9 years being down, working out. I mean, real work, you know, good working out. You know what I'm saying? He had still a lot of muscle memory. Well, usually you got muscle memory, it comes back. I mean, unless you just became a big old couch potato and you just, you know, ate yourself out of house and home, then, you know, your arms are still, you know, it'll obviously your stomach and stuff like that will develop differently, but you know, your arms and shoulders and shoulder caps and back arms and your forearms are still, you know, that muscle memory is still there. That's why a lot of people, if they don't really know, you know, they'll see dudes that are smokers, smoke crack, shoot dope on the street, be all sucked up, and then they run into them and say the county jail or the reception center in prison, you know, say 4 months later, 6 months later, after they seen them sucked up, and they can't believe their eyes because the dude's got 18.5-inch arms now, 19-inch arms, 20-inch arms, because he's clean, eating. You know what I mean? Some people, if they ain't been around, they don't even know what that even is. You know what I'm saying? But so just imagine you're on these bunks. You know, you don't know what everybody's thinking. You know, you have to take your security to another level when you're on these bunks, because for one, your back's to the cell doors. You know what I'm saying? You got to make sure you get up in the morning like you're supposed to, because all the group segments get up in the morning, especially if you're Latino, especially in whites. Get up in the morning. And the reason I'm saying them and not blacks, because the blacks have a lot of different group segments within that they do their own things. You know, you got Crips, Bloods, you got cats from the Bay, and then you got some organizations. You know, some organizations are more militant than others. You know what I'm saying? So, and then again, you got the whole state of California. So you're talking, I don't know how many people in Cali, but there's millions, right? So they got different ideology on certain things. So some of them, they don't all do the same. Like at least when you're Latino, you're either Paisa, Mexican national, or you're North, South, or Bulldog. You know already what your people's expect of you. You know what I'm saying? So you obviously you act accordingly, right? What is expected of you. And so one of the things with most of the Latin groups is you got to be up in the morning, suited and booted, and you live not comfortably, but you live clean. You know what I'm saying? You don't be. They use this word a lot on, like biker status, they call it. That's when things are dusty and all that. It's just something they say, or they say he lives like a Viking. They'll say something like that, or they'll say, this when guys just get up out of the bed and go straight to breakfast. They say he's a fireman. You know what I mean? Not brushing your grill and shit before breakfast because you're getting up late. They'll say you're like a fireman, right? But yeah, it's just, you know, that's a little dangerous. Well, not so much. Well, yeah, it can be real dangerous, but I'm saying that's always in your mind. That's always in your mind, and it's not in the back of your mind. It's more in the front of your mind that, you know, hey, I'm out here on these e-bunks. I need to pay attention. You know, especially like me, I was by myself, so I don't have nobody to watch my back. I was the only homeboy out there. You know what I'm saying? And so you got, like I said, that one side alone. You got it's 100 guys upstairs, 100 guys downstairs. But depending on what side of the day room you're on, A side or C side, you know, you have that whole thing. I think it's 101 on the bottom, 201 on top, up until it's been so long. I think it's 101 to 1 116, 117, and then on top 201 to 217, 216. So you got possibly 30 guys, right? Up top, 30 guys on the bottom that you got to worry about. Mainly the bottom tier, because the top tier, they try to run down there and try to get what you. Usually it'll be going get down, all that yelling before they even get to you. So mainly it's just the bottom tier, but you got to be on your, you got to be on your P's and Q's. Prison is all about awareness. You got to know your surroundings, know who's around you. You're constantly watching. Especially if you ran. People. Let's just keep it real. Like the cats from up north, very nosy, right? That's just part of the get down. What's up, Tim? You even have guys that are like, if you're in one of the first 4 cells, and like say DVI Tracy, where's the wings. If you're in one of the first 4 cells, they got you on carrera watch, camera watch, basically. And what you're doing is you're watching what the cops are doing, and you got to put that stuff in your reports. You're watching what any so-called enemies that are close by, that any type of movements you hear them going. You're supposed to pay attention to all that stuff. And that's called basically camera watch, carrera watch, camera watch, night watch. How they got different ones, but and you're supposed to be nosy. It is what it is. That's how people get. It's like spying in a sense. You got to get information if you on your enemy, so-called enemies. You know what I'm saying? And it's constantly all day reporting stuff. You got to do bi-weeklies, sometimes weekly reports to your tier person that's running the tier. If you're part of the squad, you got to do reports to the person that's running the yard. I'm not going to put all the names out there. I'm not doing all that. Position names, I'm not doing all that. So it's a very busy life in there, to say the least. But one of the most important things is your security. You know what I'm saying? Your self-security, security of your collective as a whole. You do assignments on what it means to be, what does security mean to you? What does it mean to keep, securing items, securing a weapon, securing everything? You know what I'm saying? And it's asked upon you to do an assignment on that. But yeah, living like that. So it was this is around the time 2007, 2008. It started getting real hot with the court system. The courts had it was in federal court. It was a 3-judge panel. I only remember one of the judges' name. His name was Thelton, Thelton, and then Henderson. And him and the other two federal judges were ordering Schwarzenegger at the time to release people, because there was, at that time, California had like 175,000 inmates just in the prisons, not counting fire camps and CCFs, in the actual prisons alone. And it was only designed, those 33 prisons were only designed to hold like 100,000, 110 max. And they had 175,000 people. And so what was happening was that people that are really sick, that need to see the doctor, cancer patients and stuff like that, because it's so overcrowded, there's a certain way you got to do things in there in order to see medical. So one thing you do is you got to put the medical slip in, which is a medical request. I think the number it's CDC 7352. I believe that's what it is. And what that is it's got like 3 layers of paper, a white one on top, a yellow one, a pink one, right? So everybody gets a copy. One goes to your trust account, one goes to the medical department, and one goes back to you. So what they do is, if you got money on your books, they charge you $3 for putting that paper in. But what I used to do was I never would sign it, and I still would get seen, right? Times I had money on my books, I would never sign it. And so what happens is you put that slip in, the next day you'll get called for the nurse. And then if you got an issue that's so good that she feels that you got to see the doctor, if it's so good, then what she does is, or he does, the nurse will put you in for the doctor line, which will be, it could be anywhere from 2 weeks to a month until you see the doctor. A lot of times if you're sick, like, got a flu or something, by the time you go see the doctor, you're already okay. You know what I'm saying? What kind of treatment do the cancer patients get? Well, they get like any other cancer patient. They'll send them out to the hospital, outside clinics, and they'll get chemo or radiation, any of that stuff. So yeah, if you're bad enough, you have to go to an outside hospital. There's only so much they can do for you in prison. You have to go see an outside doctor, and then how that works is there'll be cops that or COs, because we call them cops still. They took an oath, they wear a badge, right? The COs will be transporting, where they carry weapons, and they'll pick you up in R&R. Remember, I told you guys this a few times, that anytime you come into a facility or leave a facility, you got to go through R&R. Okay, so same thing. If you're going out to outside medical, you got to go through R&R. That's where they pick you up at. That's where their vehicle will be, the transporting COs, and they'll pick you up there, and then you go to wherever wherever you got to go. And then you'll come back in a few hours. If you need like surgery or anything like that, like back surgery or any type of surgery, same thing. You'll stay in the hospital until they clear you to come back. You know what I'm saying? They have a little thing in the back. It's called CTC, which stands for like Central Health. Sometimes they might be able to do some things there, and all the yards go there. And what they do is when you get there, they have holding tanks for the different yards, because a lot of the prisons have both GP and S&Y yards, and S&Y is the same thing as PC, protective custody. For whatever reason, if you're a gang dropout, you snitched on people, you got weird charges, and what I mean by that is those weird charges, with kids and women or men. Some dudes, man, there was a cat that was from my town. I didn't know this until I got older, because he's a lot older than me, but all his charges that he went to prison for were all for the R word on men. He would get high on crack rock and try to take men's booty holes. And I didn't know, like I said, he's a lot older than me. He's my brother's age. He's between my oldest brother and my middle brother. And the reason why he was able to slide through all those years was because he started going to the system in like 85, 86. And what happened was around 97, the big homies put out a mandate that you had to get your 128G, and the homies had to check it. And the 128G has all your arrest history. It has on there if you've been cleared for rape, escape, arson, and a lot of times it'll have what you've been, everything you've been arrested for, even if you're not convicted. And so a lot of guys fell off immediately because they knew they had funny shit on their jackets. You know what I'm saying? And I know of a lot of dudes that once that was mandated, where they said you got to do this, a lot of guys just say, oh, fuck that, I need a protective custody officer, and it is what it is. They lost a lot of manpower that way. But you know what? In that sense, it's a good thing. I don't want to be around no weirdos. And we call those people weirdos here in Cali. So when somebody calls when somebody that ain't from Cali calls somebody a weirdo that's from Cali, they take it really offensive, because that's what a weirdo is to us. You know what I mean? And so that was mandated way back when. There's 3 types of paperwork. Well, I guess you could say that. Well, there's a few. Let me give some examples of paperwork that will at least partially clear you within your people, within your collective. You got your minutes order from court, right? It'll say whatever your charges are for that term. You got your LSS sheet that people get, inmate copies in reception center, which means your legal summary status sheet. Okay, then you got your 114 lockup order, like I mentioned a minute ago, and all that does is says what are you in the hole for. So at least you'll be partially cleared with that until you get your property, so you can show what your actual charges for while you're in there. Other one is your 128G from committee. You know what I mean? That'll show a lot of stuff on there as well. You know what I'm saying? So those are basically the different sheets of different documentations from court and or California Department of Corrections that'll get you in good standings with your peoples, right? So those, like I said, those bunks are 10 bunks on each side, A side and B side only. They don't put bunks on C side, because you got the podium there, you got the podium where the cops hang out, and you got the showers that are right there behind the podium. There's two shower heads down there. So they don't use C side, B side in any of the buildings. They only use A side and C side. They don't even use those no more, because those bunks don't exist no more. Okay, so you got 10 bunks on each side. Like I said, each one is a bunk bed. So that's 20 guys on each side of the building, which equals up another 40 guys that you can have housed in each building. Okay, each facility, most facilities have 3 yards, A yard, B yard, C yard, D yard. So if you have 4 yards, You got and they're using those bunks. You got an extra 40 guys per building, and there's 5 buildings on each yard. So it'd be A yard buildings 1 through 5, B yard buildings 1 through 5, C yard building 1 through 5, D yard buildings 1 through 5. But I don't. Not all the yards were doing that. Not all the yards were doing that. But all the yards were using the gym. They were housing guys in the gym, right? Big Wedo Duran, TC in the house. What's up, boy? So yeah, the gyms were being used. Now the gyms were pretty packed, right? They were pretty packed. You know, obviously they don't want people walking through the aisles just so anybody. It had 2 different day rooms with about 4 or 5 benches on each side with a TV, and of course that was by race. There was 2 showers in the shower area, and they had about 4 to 6 shower heads on each shower, again by race. I've been to gyms where only certain toilets could be used by certain people, and then I've been in gyms where it was just this ones were used for urinals, these ones were used for number dos, right? And they didn't trip on the races when it came to using the toilets, but definitely the showers, definitely the day room, and then I'm trying to remember because they had some ADA bunks in there that were just two bunks only, a lower bunk and a top bunk. But then majority of the gym was triple racks, where 3 guys on 1 rack. That's no joke. I've been on the bottom, top, and middle, and the middle when you in the bottom too. When you turn, you hit your shoulders, and I had wide shoulders, right? Especially when I be working out, I widen out, right? So I was hitting my arm, my shoulders. The top rack's probably the most comfortable, but I don't like being up there because at least when you're in the middle, the bottom better because you're lower and you're kind of hidden. Aunt Muggs, what's up with it? That's a new name. I haven't seen Aunt Muggs before. Unless this is Aunt Mugnolo. Did you change your name? Um, so yeah, the gym was like another world. It was like another world being in there. It was a trip, you know. And I always said I don't want to go in there. I don't want to go in there. But we got into an issue with somebody on the yard, and we were forced in there. But well, the good thing was that was like the stronghold. We were deep in there. We were like 30 deep with all most of the hitters from our collective. We got up to like 90 deep. There was like 90 homies on that yard. When I first got to that yard, we only had like 35. You know what I mean? So we had about 90 deep and on that yard, and then we got about 30, 35 deep in the gym, and all the major hitters from our collective were in there. You know, the dudes that I would trust to go back to back with if something happened. We had homies from everywhere: San Jose, Sanjo, Vaisa, Salas, Stockton, Modesto. We had homies from Milpas, which is Milpitas. We had homies from Pitas, Pittsburgh. We had homies from Hayward. A couple homies from Fremonte, FMT, Fremont. A lot of homies from Sanjo. A lot of homies from TC. That was probably the deepest I ever seen TC was when I was in that pen. We had homies from everywhere in TC. Vaisa. There was a homie from Poros there. There was a homie, that's Porterville. There was a homie from Dinah there, which is Dinuba. There was a couple homies from Tula, which is Tulare. And then we had a couple homies from, we had one homie from Exeter, one homie from Woodlake. I was gonna say Tabolas, but no, that was another pin I was at. We had like 3 homies from Tabolas, which is Woodville. Yeah, so they were deep right there. They were deep. And it's some good homies too. And the thing with the homies from TC, and I don't know, Big Wedo Duran could probably attest to this. The homies, especially at that time, 2007, the homies from Tulare County were still cholo. The style was still cholo. Which I don't have a problem with that because that's how I grew up. You know what I'm saying? But the reason I'm saying that because a lot of homies from the Bay Area, from Oakland, from San Francisco, from Hayward, from kind of Dakota, Fremont, their estilos kind of clash. You know what I'm saying? And that's because they say, you know, because of the influence of the Afro-Americans there, that, you know, the blacks, that, you know, a lot of homies act black, but that's not what it is, man. You grow up in a certain culture, a certain type of swag. That's just what it is, man. You know what I'm saying? Like everybody knows, I'm Puerto Rican. I'm not Mexican, right? My kids are Mexican, right? I got a lot of love for Mexican people. I got love for Latinos, period. When I hear of a Latino doing well in life or making it big in sports, whatever, I bring it to the attention, right? And that don't matter, Dominican, Mexican, Cuban, it don't matter. Um, but I remember reason I'm bringing that up because I had some cat one time say something about. He said, "Oh, you're not a Raza, homie," like because I'm not Mexican, but I'm of Latin descent. So reason I'm saying that is because if you know what the plight is, what the plight is of up north people, then you know that being of Latin descent is, A1. You know what I'm saying? Uh, it's all good in Hollywood. You know what I'm saying? Plus, I don't want to get into all that. Okay, well, look, the leader back in the 70s, from 1973 up until about 1981, 82, was Puerto Rican, right? And he had two brothers, and there was a lot of other members that were Puerto Rican. And if you want to talk about the up north as a collective, there's been tons, right? So when somebody says an ignorant statement like that, they don't know their own history, right? And and so, anyways, one of the homies from TC, Tulare County, from Visalia, Visa, he stepped up and he straight had my back and he put that dude in his place. You know what I'm saying? Which he was in all rights. He didn't disrespect the dude, but he put him in his place and let him know, like, hey, you're wrong. You know what I'm saying? So all good in Hollywood. You know what I'm saying? But um, going back to the homies being from TC, kind of cholo-ish. When I was growing up, that's how it was. Motherfuckers wore hairnets. Motherfuckers wore Dickies and Ben Davis pants and fucking white tees. You know what I'm saying? Hairnets. I think I already said hairnets, but they wear their beanie real tight for their hair to go back. 3 flowers, all that shit, right? Derby jackets, fucking brims, fucking bomber jackets, all kinds of different shit, right? Wallabies, however you pronounce that. Chuck Taylor shoes, you know what I'm saying? So a lot of times, I can go either way. You know what I'm saying? I could, even though I don't talk like that. I don't be like, hey, and this, and I don't do that. I don't talk like that. A lot of cats from the Bay do. That's on them. But we don't inside there. We don't. Oh, that's a trip. I just seen this guy that works with me all the way in the Bay Area, and I never seen him in Tracy before, and there he just drove by. That's a trip. But anyways, uh, they don't like each other. Only homies from they just don't like each other just because of where they're from. They ain't even met each other yet, but they'll be standoffish with each other because they're from Kern County or they're from Tulare County, and this guy's from Oakland. Homies from Oakland. It's a trip. I don't like it. I don't like that shit at all. You got to at least try to get to know each other before you start judging people, right? Only solely on because of where they're from. And that goes too for the bigger picture, north and south. Like I dropped a short the other day about how people, no matter what your nationality is, no matter what color of skin you are, we are more similar than we are different. It's a fact. Especially when you've been through you've been through diversity, you've been through a lot of struggles. I don't care what nationality you are, white, black, Latino, Asian, Native American, we've been through the same type of shit. That's fact. I don't give a fuck what anybody says, especially if you're trapped in that web of the penal system. You know what I'm saying? We are very similar. Those struggles are. It doesn't say these struggles ain't branched up into categories. Where you fit only in this one and not that one because of the color of your skin, or your last name ended in a vowel, or or you being whatever. You know what I'm saying? Nah, that's not even true. Anybody that's been around. And that's the thing too. You got to be open-minded. You can't be like, oh, well, he's from here. Oh, fuck him. I ain't fucking with him because majority of those guys are like this. That's stupid as fuck. You know what I'm saying? And we get caught up doing that too much. You know what I'm saying? I'll be the first to admit. Stereotype shit is bullshit. It is what it is, man. We got to clean our act up. And that even goes on the politics side, man. It's like, oh, you're Republican. Fuck you, I'm Democrat. Or you're Democrat, fuck you, I'm Republican. You can't bunch everybody up in one group as being bad people because they might believe a certain something. Anybody that does that, they're wrong. You know what I'm saying? If there's a policy or something that this person believes in that you don't like, that shouldn't take away from how you feel about them as far as friendship wise or getting to know them better. It's that us against them mentality, which is bullshit, bogus. It doesn't work. It's no good, especially for America. It's no United States of America. It's no good. Um, you can't just be, oh, what? He's this and he's pushing that. Nah, man, you got to get into it and talk, and hopefully you guys can come with a understanding and a how do you say that? You know what I mean? You can find that 50-50. Try to find somewhere where it'll work. You know what I'm saying? Where you can come up with something that works for other people. JM, SJ, what up, boy? Falmetto. That's what's up, man. Anthony Muggs, I don't know. Is that you, Anthony Magnolo? You just changed your avatar? If it is, man, thanks for that Cash App the other day, man. I bought me a coffee with it today. I got me a large coffee with French vanilla creamer. Palmetto, have you I know you done time, but I'm not sure how old you are. But have you done time when they had those bunks, those e-bunks, like what's in the thumbnail? The e-bunks, they were called emergency bunks, and other prisons they call them T-bunks. I don't know if you've done time back then. They started putting these bunks out like in 2000. I think they started in like 07 up until I think 07, 08 is when they were big with the bunks out there in the e-bunk T-bunks. The e-bunks were I heard them as e-bunks in Pleasant Valley, and then they used them as T-bunks in like Wasco. And yeah, it was kind of, I was talking about how, you got to be, your security is first and foremost, as individuals, and then also as a collective, you know what I'm saying? And security is very important in the Northern Plight. And you got to be booted and suited in the morning, first thing in the morning. Okay. Wow. They had them in Salinas Valley. Holy shit. On the level 4 yard, or was it a 270 level 4? Or was it a level 3? Because I didn't even know they had them in, it had to be a 270 building because the 280 buildings got the walls. So where would they put the bunks? I mean, it'd be really packed in there if they did that, right? So I'm pretty sure it was the 270, right? Level 4 270 or the level 3 270. Yeah, so it's no joke, bro. I've heard of guys coming out the cells jumping on dudes. Because it was, like I said, in California, 1 minute a yard could be considered no good, and then 6 months later, 8 months later, a year, it could change and be good now. Okay, so at that time, like I had mentioned, when we got off the bus in Pleasant Valley, we went straight to the hole because we didn't fit the housing mission of housing Fresno Bulldogs and non-active cats, Latinos from up north. Okay, and then, like I said, B Yard had an issue over there, and they ended up flopping out 24, 27 of us, 26 Northern Latinos, and putting them on the B Yard, and putting the guys 27, the same amount of guys they were on the yard, and they put them in the hole. Okay, I wasn't one of the 20-something selected. And still, even though they did that for a minute there, it's going to be like, what? They're still going to think, the yard's no good because the word's got to get traveled around. IP, I Talk Family. What up, Perez? What's happening, homie? If you guys don't know already, Cain Velasquez, free Cain, is finally free. He made bail early this morning, about 2, 3 in the morning, from Santa Clara County Jail, which is downtown San Jose, LA, excuse me. But it was he was granted bail yesterday, so they probably did some type of, it took a while for him to actually walk out. You guys don't mind, go check out. I did a couple shorts. I did one yesterday announcing it, and then today I did where I did a ghetto style, where I use one phone, this phone that I'm on now, and I use this phone to play him being released, and I did it like that. But like I mentioned earlier, some of you guys weren't here yet. I downloaded an app where I'm able to do it right. I won't be doing ghetto things, so I'm really trying to hook up the channel better. I'm hoping that an intro will be made for me. I got at somebody, and then Rich DM 650 was here earlier, and me and him were talking some business. I think it was yesterday. So hopefully we'll be able to figure something out with backdrops and things like that. My boy, mi hermano, mi pai. Carlos Muniz del El Bronx, Nueva York. What's up, Los? Let me know. Anybody wants to come on, let me know. I dropped the link. Um, so yeah, that was those bunks. Yeah, I wasn't aware of that. See, saw Kane rocking that brown top. I wasn't surprised. Well, yeah, that was the thing. That's what I was talking to somebody earlier. I was talking to Stay Awake TV earlier. If you guys haven't already, go over there and check out his channel. Give him a sub. Also, before I forget, tomorrow, 3:30 Pacific time. Um, I'm gonna be having on a guest tomorrow, Harvey from Harvey Talks Prisons. Um, and he's in the Midwest. He's in Missouri. He did 29 years on a life sentence and was granted parole 6 years ago, and he walked out. So hopefully we're going to cover some things there. Do a little like I don't know, I want to call it an interview, but get his perspective on how things was, because when he got busted, when he picked up the case, he was a young man, 17 years old, a teenager. So just imagine it. A kid at 17 years old, you're going to think of a skinny, scrawny kid, right? Young kid, and being put where men, grown men. Some states they put you out there 15, 16 years old. And some places aren't like California where they'll take them cheeks. It is what it is. California, that's not accepted. Now, one time, don't get me wrong, it's happened. It does happen, but it's for sure looked down upon, and they don't play that shit here. Also, another thing, you don't be stealing people's shit. The jailhouse thief is a no. You will get fucked up. I don't care what nationality, what group segment you belong to. That's not, because I tell you like this: if you say you're, me, I just use me because I don't want to say certain races. Sometimes I don't like the way that sounds. Say me, I go steal something, and my people give me a verbal slashing, tongue lashing, and maybe they might put hands on me. They might sock me up a couple times, and maybe do me some discipline, or I have to do some working out, or maybe a writing assignment. The other people are going to be like, hell no, that motherfucker stole already? No, hell no. We ain't going to take chances of him stealing more shit. Get him the fuck up out of here. And then that's what happens. So that's why it's not tolerated. I don't give a fuck if you take it in front of them or you take it when they ain't looking. It's still bullshit. That's a no-no. You know what I'm saying? Now, if you do it like more on a Debo type thing where you're just muscling on somebody, that might be a little different. But it won't be majority of the people. I don't give a fuck how big you are, how tough you are. You're only so tough when it comes to, waves of guys coming at you. Excuse me. And when it's a weapon and weapons are involved, I don't give a fuck how tough you are. They're going to be getting you from behind. There ain't nothing no 20-inch arms are going to do for you. I don't give a shit. I've seen it. Before. Don't get me wrong, I've seen it where a cat, they sent 3 guys on him, and a couple different occasions, and he put hands on them. They didn't have weapons, though. They was just hands. They came on him, and he, all 3 of them. They sent, again, 3 more guys on him. And I know this dude personally. He gets big. He's about 6'2", but he gets about 19 and a half inch arms. Now he passed away now, but when he got a little older, he got a little bit heavier. But this dude would be like 19-inch arms. His back would be a wide ass back, and he'd be a lot more slender than he became when he got older. And that was because he had some mobility issues where he wasn't able to move, so he started putting on weight. But R.I.P. Pancho Ruelas out of Stockton, Califas, and he was cousins with Michael Carbajal, the little champion from, and I say little because he was small in weight and stature. He was a little guy out of Arizona. That was his actual cousin, because at one point the homie got a job as a barber, and I used to go in there sometimes to get my hair cut, and he had pictures of his cousin and him with his cousin in the pictures. Because a lot of people will say this and say that, but he had the actual proof right there on the wall with him and his cousin in the picture, and his cousin's pops was in the picture as well, which I'm not sure how they were cousins. If it was second cousins, first cousins, I didn't ask all that. I didn't need to. We don't look at shit like that. If you're my cousin, I don't care if it's my 3rd cousin or my 4th cousin. It's just my cousin, right? And the reason I say all that is because we got such a big family that, my mom grew up with some cousins that were like her 3rd cousins, but because their age and the family's so close, they grew up together, and like I said, we don't do all that. This is my 2nd cousin, my 1st cousin. This is my half brother. And that's another thing that sounds weird. They'll say, this is my stepbrother. You know what I mean? But you guys got the same parent, one of the same parents. I never got that. It's kind of weird to me. I guess to each his own, but because my family, the way we were raised, we didn't do that. You know what I'm saying? So it's a little strange when I hear that being said, especially if you guys are close. It's like, this is my half brother. Or this is my half sister, but you guys are close, like real close. Like, why even say all that? But anyways, everybody's whatever they do. So anyways, back to what I was saying. Yeah. So the gym, man, it was real. People had some guys would put little lines up from their bunk to their neighbor's bunk, and basically what that meant was, don't come down here, right? And which you should know that anyways. If you're a real legit convict and you've been doing time, you know that the little bit of privacy you can obtain up in there is, you cherish it, right? It means a lot. Respects everything up in there. You're not going to be stepping on people's shoes and not say excuse me, bumping to them, not say excuse me. It's weird. That's what I can't understand. Like today, man, at the laundromat, this cat went right by me, and you got the baskets at the laundromat. He bumped into the basket and didn't say a motherfucking thing, nothing. I tripped out on that. Like, what the fuck is going on here, man? You know what I mean? But then again, that's just how people are, man. They're weird. People are weird when it comes to that. They don't have manners. And then I guess the cultural thing too, I guess, comes into play. There's my boy out of LA County's finest, the Arbor area's own Maki Mock. What up, Maki Mock? Let me ask you something, Marky Mark. Have you ever seen or lived either on the E-bunks or T-bunks, because they call them different things, different prisons, or in the gym? Have you ever lived in the gym? I remember one time I was shaving, because I always shaved in the shower, right? Now, don't get me wrong, if you can't, because most of the time, like in the holes and different places like that, where you're being it's a controlled movement where you're being what I mean by that is when you're being like let out. Like, in other words, if you're on the lockdown and say it's the two Latin group segments, what they do is they might, I've seen it done different ways, where they'll pop out just a few cells to shower, or they'll pop out everybody from that group segment to shower, and they'll be like, hey, you guys got 30 minutes. Or I've been to where you get escorted to the shower and literally given, like, between you and your cellies, like 6 minutes to shower, both you guys. You know what I'm saying? And that's a controlled shower. Controlled feeding would be when you get fed when you're in your cell or in your building, right? So I've seen both of those. So I would start to take my time when I was able to. You know what I'm saying? Who the hell wants to? You got to do what you got to do, right? And that's another thing too. Like, bird bathing is cool. It gets the job done temporarily. But if you just bird bath every day, just think about it. You don't get the right. You can't possibly, the water pressure for one is not that good. So like when you're scrubbing your neck and scrubbing your body with your wash rag, or if you have one of those freaking those, I don't know what they call those things, those the little things you put your body wash on, loofah, I don't know what the hell they're called. But anyways, just think about it. You're using the sink in the sink, right? So most of the time, unless you got it rigged somewhere for the button to stay on, look, if you got the one with the turn knobs with the old school porcelain sinks, that's cool. And they're big too, they're deep, you know what I'm saying? So you can plug up the hole and fill it up, and just dip your cup in there and do it like that, other than just holding the cup, like this until it fills up and then throw it on you, right? And then at the same time, you got to watch out that you don't throw a whole bunch of water on the fucking floor where it all goes underneath the door out onto the tier. You can get, not only will the COs trip on that sometimes, but within your own collective, the homies will trip on that, because you're fucking off the tier from being, if you have to fish, because how are you going to fish with all that water? And then what if it's something that's important and then you get it wet? You know what I mean? And that's your fault, and you'll be disciplined for that. So it's always best to put like a towel or something right by the door to keep it from going out there onto the tier, right? And then you basically just mop it up. You mop up the water with the towel, right? And then squeeze it out into the toilet. You know what I mean? But what I'm getting to about the bird bathing is, you can only clean yourself so good, right? Because you don't have no pressure. No pressure comes out of there like a shower. Plus, you got to use one hand, right? You're using one hand to throw the water on you, and you use another hand to try to get the soap off. You know what I mean? When you're in the shower, both hands are free, And so what I'm getting to is this: when you're gonna bird bath, if it's just temporary bird bathing, you don't do it all the time. Because I know some guys, they do it every day. every day they bird bath. They don't go shower. And when like if it's a controlled movement where they go controlled movement where they go, you have to still walk down to the shower. You can't refuse it, right? So you got to go with your celly still to have his back and watch the cats that are in there. Then you just post up. You know what I'm saying? You post up. That's how that works. Um, and, you post up, and that's how that works. But what happens is you have to um, the main things is when and I'm not trying to be sick. I'm being serious. When you bird bath, the main things are anything that kicks off funk. So your underarms, your poop shoot, right? Your cookie, right? Your donut, however you want to call it. You're a man, underneath your package, right? Underneath your, whatever your just your ball sack and your feet. You know what I'm saying? Those places kick off funk. Don't forget that belly button. You know what I'm saying? And then of course, your face and do all that. You can do that, but get those main spots. You know what I'm saying? That's a must. It's a must. You get those main spots. Yeah, Marky Mark said your arse and your pelotas and your armpits. Exactly. And then your feet too. If you're one of them cats that, do that. I had to bird bath for about 5 months, 2 times a day. Shit suck. Yeah. We'll see. In those cases, that's different. But if you got the option to shower, sometimes it's been where like, we're out there in the yard and then for any reason for short of staff or I'll tell you this, when we were in Soledad, Chole, they call it Chole slang, Soledad, that prison's called CTF, Correctional Training Facility. And what would happen was, okay, so you got 4 yards there. You got North facility that has 2 yards though. They have 2 yards within that one facility. I should have said 3 facilities, excuse me. So they got 3 facilities, 4 yards. So they got Soledad North. There's A yard and B yard. And they have the halls there. Rainier Hall, Whitney Hall, Shasta Hall. And I don't remember the other one's name. But they got 2 halls on each yard and they got 2 dorms. One's called Fremont and the other one's called Fremont Dorm and the other one's called, oh my gosh, something else. Okay, then you got Soledad Central, and those cells are all wings, right? You got O wing, T wing, all those type of things, right? Then you got, and those are all cell living. Okay, they used to be level 4 back in the day, then they went level 3, and now I believe it's level 2. But it's cell living. At the time I was there, it was level 3. Okay, then you got Soledad South, and that's dorms, and that's level 2. And they might even have level 1s there. I'm not sure. I think so. I think they do. But and those are all dorms. Okay, so what would happen was they were short on staff a lot, and when there was something with medical, like where somebody had to be driven out for whatever reasons, if it was an emergency, if it was the normal, a duck, somebody had a ducket and they had to go to an outside facility for medical. What happened is because of short of staff, they would it would rotate the yards. So say the next time a medical issue comes up, it might be Soledad Central's turn, right? And then the next one would be Soledad South's turn. So it had to be an officer from that yard, and then it would get back around to Soledad North. So if you happen to be on Soledad North and a medical issue came up and it was Soledad North's turn, their staff, they would yard recall it, right? Call yard recall. That means you got to go in. And a lot of times they would continue with day room where you could stay out there and shower, and play cards or whatever you're doing, or they might just shut it all down. Okay, and lock everybody back in their cells. So if they do that and you get locked all back in your cells, then obviously you're not able to take a shower. And so what happens is you go in there and, if you're all sweaty from the yard, you're not going to want to be going to bed like that, even though I've seen guys do that shit. Nasty shit, man. You would, if you went first, then you went first. If your celly went first, he would go first, and then you get on your bunk, the curtains up. We put the curtain on for each person whose turn it is, and then bird bath, right? And like I said, you put a towel down where the door's at to keep, if you get real jiggy with it, where you're throwing water everywhere, then water's going to eventually make its way out that way. So you put that towel to stop that. Okay, then you might put a towel if underneath your bunk, if you have a lot of shit up under there, like and usually they're in containers like those plastic totes. I had 3 of them, right? And I had them underneath my bed, and you might want to put a towel there. But usually, you usually will take care of it decent by then. You know what I mean? Like you won't get a whole lot of water, but if you have anything under there where it can get wet and destroyed, then you obviously you're not going to want to do that, and you're going to pay attention really well on what you're doing, right? And so that's what you do. Get your bird bath on. Then you're not gonna, if you're going first and your celly's going first, you're not gonna like mop it all up real good because another person's gonna go, right? So you just make sure you keep it from being soaked, with puddles and shit. You know what I'm saying? And then the next person's turn it will be, and then you'll opt to mop your floor, right? So you might put some disinfectant down right there. Some people will do it where they put shampoo and then mix it with water. They get that soapy, they get it soapy, and then you usually have a floor towel for mopping, a sweeping, you know. And so the way we had it was we'd have a towel on the a towel we'd have a sink towel and a toilet towel, right? And the toilet towel is wipe the toilet, obviously. The sink towel is to wipe the sink all around the sink. And then every week for laundry, what I would do was I would send in the floor towel, which is a normal towel, it's not ripped, and I would put our extra towels in there, the ones that we did have ripped, one for the sink, one for the toilet, one for the floor. The extra one I had for the floor that was ripped, and I would send that in every week, and then I would have a backup to use while the laundry was out, and then I would just rotate every week. But you gotta, and I don't send my clothes in because what'll happen is, the button-up shirts, those are obsolete. They don't hand those out no more. So when guys get those, they could try to take those out. You definitely don't send your personal clothing, your shorts, because in that case, the laundry's on a different yard. Okay, that was Soledad North. I was on A yard and B yard, both yards. But I think Soledad Central does the laundry. So you're talking about a whole nother facility that you're not going to see nobody. If say your shit gets taken, there's no way in hell you're going to see the guy wearing it on the yard because it's different yards. So you don't even send your stuff like that, Excuse me. So yeah, you don't send your stuff like that. You try to stay on top of things. Like I said earlier, would still be considered. This would still be considered security, right? Your belongings. You got to take care of your belongings, right? Anything you own is a part of you. You know what I'm saying? So in other words, if people can feel they can just take your stuff, then they'll just take anything. You know what I'm saying? So you got to be, it's something important. You don't want to give nobody the impression that you're some weak son of a gun. And if there's something you want, they'll take. You know what I'm saying? That's out. That's out. I remember one time I was in DVI and they were coming around to fix the windows, right? Because like I had mentioned a few different times, in the summertime, it's so hot. You figure the temperature on the streets is, on the outs, Freedom is 100 plus degrees. So in the cell, and not to mention that second or third tier, the heat rises, right? So it's even hotter there. So guys would bust out the windows, and then it seemed like they would always get back around to fix them when it was warm again. You know what I mean? But this time they came through. Okay, so I got there in October of 2012. And this was probably about, I wasn't there no more than a month. So this is a matter of fact around this time of 2006, right? So what is that? That's 2006. That's 14. No, what is that? 16 years ago. Damn, already? Yeah, 2006 plus 16 is 2022. Yep. So what happened was they got around to do this, and they already did the first tier. So what I did was I got this homeboy from Lodi, and I asked him if I can put my stuff in his cell, and he was a runner. He was a porter. So what I did was when I came in for chow or whatever that was, when I got out that day, I already had my stuff in the bag, in the brown paper bag, and I just put it outside my door. And then he came and grabbed it. And so what I had in there was pictures. I had all my stamps in there, and I had my Jordans. I had some ones, and you can't really see, but there's a picture I posted of me and two other homies, and on the shoes I have on are Jordans. They're the first, and I left it to the guy on my right, the tallest guy in the picture. I left him with the shoes. The shoes were brand spanking new. I had them brought to me. They weren't even worn yet when I got them in the county, and then I just basically sat on them, and then I wore them probably a total of maybe 20 times in the 4 years I did. Um, they were the ones. They were low top ones. The swoosh was like the turtle kind of design, but it was gray, right? And I got offered, believe it or not, I got offered $500 for these shoes in reception center, and the guy had like 12,000 on his books, so he had the money. He showed it to me. He said he would send the money, and before I would give them to him, I would have the money. Like in other words, he wouldn't want the shoes until his money hit. My people's got the money, or however we agreed. If he was going to send it to my books, then not until I got receipts saying it was there, or from my people's, whoever I was going to send it to. But I said, nah, I wasn't hurting for money. I didn't need money. Money ain't always the answer for everything. You know what I'm saying? Even though people that have the money, they like to floss like it is. Everybody's got a price. Remember $1 Million Man used to say, Ted DiBiase? He used to say everything's got a price. Remember, he was trying to buy he made a deal with Andre the Giant that when Andre the Giant beat Hulk Hogan, that he would buy the belt from him, and that's what happened. Well, that was the theme. That was the storyline, the kayfabe storyline, right? So, anyways, the dude offered me 500, and then he made another deal with me. He had some Air Force Ones, and then, yeah, that was the other part of it. He said, "I'll give you these and 500 for them shoes," and I was like, "Nah, I'm good," right? And I ended up leaving them to the homie for nothing, just leaving them to him. He still had a couple years to go. It's just how we do it. I left him that, and I left him some headphones. I had some CL20s, some Koss CL20s, which are the bigger earphones. They're clear. They have the most bass to them. I left those to him too, and then he gave me another pair because I left the rest of my radio electronics to one of the OG Puerto Ricans. That was a lifer that had been down since 90 in the United States, or no, excuse me, United States. In California, he had been down since 93, 94 in California. The reason I say 93, 94 is because he had a J number. J's came out in 93. Let me think for a second. I can't remember his number. I got it written down because I sent him money from time to time. That reminds me too. I got to send some bread to 3 guys. One, my cousin, another guy out of Boricua that I'm telling you, Puerto Rican cat I'm telling you about now, and the homie Bandit. Bandit been down since 1981. 41 years he's been down. He's 66 now. He's been down since he's like 24, 25 years old. Not for a murder, too. It's not even a murder. And he's been down all these years. It was a kidnap robbery. His brother was with him at the time. His brother was only like 16. He was 24. His brother's been released since, and he's been down. His brother's been out for like, man, about 7 years already, 7, 8 years. What happened was with this cat, and this is when I was there too, and it's a trip too because I'm telling him about he socked up this dude over the shower, right? He socked up this dude over the shower. Luckily for us, and the reason I'm saying that is because we didn't have to like say anything, report anything. I didn't to our own peoples. That's protocol, right? It's called a IR, incident report, and you're supposed to let your folks know what's going on, especially something like that. Luckily, the guy that he socked up was actually I was gonna say he was another lifer, but I don't know that for sure. But the only reason we got by is, and what I mean by that is we didn't have to, he didn't get DP'd or disciplined or anything like that by our folks, but it screwing him up. Well, actually, no, he didn't get caught up on that one. But what did screw him up on that was I was telling him like, hey, be cool, don't trip on that. And then that same day, a little bit later, I ended up getting into it with somebody over the shower, But I screwed that up right now with that story because what happened was that had nothing to do with his board hearing. What happened was he got denied 10-year denial, I think it was, or it might have been a 5-year denial. Yeah, it was a 5-year denial. And what happened was he went to parole board, and they denied him because he had went on one day. And I could hear this going on because I was in my cell, but I just had a feeling it was him. And these guys are coming in from education, and he hadn't let them in. The cop hadn't, and this is an old school pen, so you have to literally go up to each door, open up each door with the key, and let the people in. It's not like the newer pins where the tower could just hit the buttons, boom, and the doors pop. So the cop, and it's 3 tiers high. So the cop him and his partner got to do all the walking, to each door. If everybody that's going in. And so we didn't have program that day. But these guys, I mean, we had program, but not yard program. They had normal program as far as education and schooling and all that. So these guys come back from education and Voc and all that, and I heard the cop saying something, and basically it was about those guys that were coming in were talking to guys, and he was supposedly, allegedly, talking to people inside their cells, and so he was talking to somebody. So the cop didn't like that and made a fucking bullshit ass. He had a hair up his ass over it. And he said something, and the old boy just went off. He's like, "Man, what the fuck you fucking with me for? I ain't even doing shit." Da-da-da. So I know he probably got deep disciplined by our peoples for making the scene. You know what I'm saying? Getting loud like that. But anyways, he ended up getting a 5-year denial and parole, and they told him that he needed to do anger management class because he went off. He went off on the guy and on the CO. It is what it is. So 5 years. They gave him a 5 years on that, and 5-year denial, and that really means that you got to come back in 5 years. You got to come back in 5 years and to your next one, And so now he's getting older in age. He's at that time he's 66 now. Like I said, he'd been down since he was 25. Been down 41 years straight. And he started, because he had told me before when we were talking that he don't give a fuck about coming out here because he's not married no more. His wife moved on, even though he still has an open relationship with her, as far as he can still call her. She already remarried, but it was always about family. And she even still sent them packages sometimes. Sometimes she sent him a $70 package, $80 package, or she would go halves with one of his kids and get him a $150 package, right? And so he still had that open, at least communicate that line of communication. But he was like, my parents died. He goes, my kids are fuck ups, like his sons. He goes, majority of them are fuck ups. He goes, he said, my brother, we got locked up together, and I took, he don't even fucking send me a raggedy book of stamps. He was mad, right? It was one of those days for him that he just was fuck the world, basically, right? And so he was like, I don't give a fuck about going home. So maybe he was tripping like that day, right? And but the last time I got a letter from, not the last time, but one of the last times, he was like, he was trying to get out. That he had did some programs. He told me already the ones he had did, and that he was looking forward to come out and spend time with his grandkids. So I was happy to hear that for him, because he's one of them older guys that are stuck in their ways. You know what I'm saying? Very he gets agitated easy. You know what I'm saying? Short temper. Like an older person. You guys know what I mean. When you guys got them uncles and aunts that are, or whatever, grandparents that you can tell that they're getting grouchier the older they get, or maybe your parents, depending on how old you are. You know what I'm saying? So it was obvious that's what was going on with him. But that was good to hear. You know what I'm saying? And he will be somebody that I will be seeing in person, because he's not from too far from where I live. And I also offered him that I was going to give him through my branch manager boss would write him never mind. I just put it this way. I don't want to put too much out there, because you never know, some of these weird ass fucking haters, troll ass motherfuckers. You know what I'm saying? You'd be surprised what they do with some information, right? But basically, I'll just say that I was looking out for him the best that I could, using any type of connection, to try to get him out. You know what I'm saying? And it looks like he might be doing that the next, hopefully the next board. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, he's not there for a murder. He's in there for a kidnap, robbery. 41 years. Come on, man. You know what I'm saying? Not to make it, not trying to minimize anything, but I'm pretty sure that person that the alleged crime happened with probably got scarred from the situation. But 41 years, you know what I'm saying? That's a bit drastic. You know what I mean? He should have been out a long time ago. But unfortunately, that's a lot of to do with his fault, because of the write-ups he was getting and things like that. But one thing I was glad to see about that was that he had got kicked out of the shoe. because, well, you know what? Let me take that back. When I was talking about him getting in trouble from our own peoples, to be technically, he wasn't even, he was a Texan, to be honest. So that none of that pertained to him anyway. So that's why we, but because I was by him and associate with him, I could have gotten, I, I would have gotten in trouble as far as within my own peoples. You know what I'm saying? They would have wanted answers, and I would have had to do some writing and stuff like that. But nobody was around. Even the homeboys that were in those cells, they were they were in at their assignment, the kitchen and the school. You know what I'm saying? So there's been some times where I was able to slide through where I should have been, I should have gotten in trouble for a couple of different things, and I was able to. One time I got in trouble for horse playing. I grabbed this dude's arm. He told me, "Hey," he asked me for a favor to do that. Pull his arm a certain way so it would pop, it would crack. And when I grabbed his arm to do it, I kind of played around and put a little bit too much force in it. And he kind of said, "Oh!" And one of the and he was a youngster too. He was near, really close by. He caught that and he gave me that eye, like, "I got you, motherfucker." And he did talk about uh, DPing me. DP means discipline, right? And what happened was, how I slipped through was, this big old dummy, one day he got moved. He was my neighbor. We're in two bunks right next to each other. He moved to the other side of the building to be a trustee, right? A worker, right? When they passed out trays. And what happened was, this big old dummy, this sangano, this pendejo, right? Didn't secure. Remember earlier I said securing is very big within the collective, right? The plight, right? And he didn't secure this stuff. This stuff is considered by staff, right? Institution, our administration is considered, again, gang intelligence, right? And this big old dummy, this pendejo, this sangano, left it unsecure. And so when he took all his shit off the bed, he took the mattress as well. He had a bunch of stuff under his mattress that was supposed to be secured at all times, unless you were actually in the moment of using it for whatever reason. He left it right there, and I grabbed it and I said, "Oh yeah, here we go. I'm gonna be sitting in good in a good light, as far as, not like I'm gonna go say, 'Hey, look what Green Eyes did. Green Eyes left this.' No, what I meant was, I'm gonna be in good light within myself, knowing that I kept him from fucking himself off, and also that now I got the upper hand as far as the DP. He's not gonna give me that now, right? He's not gonna give me that." And we come out for, and they call it rec time there, right? We were in the county jail. We were in Alameda County Jail. We were in Santa Rita. We were in building 33 East, right? And now he got moved to the west side. And I'm sitting there, and I got, I want to say I was posting up for somebody, and I see somebody get called to the door. And the way we communicate in the building 33, building 32, building 31 from east to the west side is, you go to the door and you shake it, and somebody will come to the door, and then whoever they're asking, and everybody knows that that corner is where we kick. Excuse me, is where we kick it. And so what happened was, somebody calls for me, and he looks. He says, "Hey." So I come over there, and one of my nicknames is Tito, 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 right? And I got that from this OG. We're in the hole at Seg, the oil, and he tells me, "Oh, you Puerto Rican, homie? Yeah." He go, "What you know about Tito Puente?" I said, "Come on, brother. He's an old time legend from way, 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 way back, right?" And he says, "Oh, okay. Well, Tito Puente is too long. We're just gonna call you Tito." So that's how I got that name. Tito, if nobody knows, it kind of means junior. If your name is Miguel, Miguelito, or Junior, they'll call you. I mean, excuse me, Tito would be short for like Junior. You know what I'm saying? So that's where you get that. Tito means small, smaller. So Ito. Anytime you hear Ito, ITO, that basically means whatever it's attached to, it's the smaller version. So chiquito is chico, is chiquito, chico. Norbertito is Norbert. You know what I'm saying? So on and so forth. So that's how I got that name. So when I turn and look, the dude, matter of fact, I think it was Pops, R.I.P. Pops from Dakota. He says, "Hey, Tito, they're calling you." So I go over there, He goes, hey, I go, yeah. I go, don't, as soon as I know it's him talking, I go, hey, don't trip. I got you. And he was like, oh man, remember that DP? Don't even worry about it. I wasn't worrying about it anyways. I probably wasn't going to do it because it was like the dude was trying to nitpick shit with me and I didn't dig it, you know. And it's just one of those things when the guy gets in a position of I don't want to say power, but in a position where, you know, what he says goes, it kind of goes to their head sometimes. And it was a trip how they were programming and how I had to go in there and change up a lot of things. You know what I'm saying? They wasn't feeling me because of, you know, me being, they say, oh, he's from the Valley. And most of them are all from the Bay Area. But it had nothing to do with that, bro. Is that I don't want to get into a riot with blacks because of things you guys are saying, even though it's your normal talk, you know, saying the word and the N word and saying blood and stuff like that. We're not supposed to talk like that. And sometimes the brothers hear that shit and they take it offensive. You know, come on, what's it look like? A bunch of Puerto Ricans and Mexicans saying the N word. And you got these OG brothers, you know, from organizations that are telling their young African brothers, don't say the N word. You know, but then these Puerto Ricans and Mexicans are saying it. It's not a good look. It's not right, period. You know, just like with the word blood, we're not supposed to say all that. For one reason is, you know, the Southern Latinos are actively at war with the blacks down south, LA area. And you know, when they look at dudes from up north, they just see Mexicans too, right? So for the majority, so they tend to just say, you know, they hear these dudes saying that, say blood, what up, blood, and say these blacks are Crips. They're gonna take that offensive, right? Uh, and then for the fact is that they're warring with the Latinos down south, anyways. And then on top of that, some of these dudes never even been around a northern cat from northern Latino cat. I don't care how much time they've done. Sometimes they've been fortunate for them to be stay closer to home. They never went to a facility up north. You know what I'm saying? And that all comes into play, and it's all a no-no as far as the county jails are training facilities for within your collective. You know what I'm saying? Like if there's no-nos, things you're not supposed to do, you'll start picking up all that while you're in county jail. You know what I mean? This is a fact. I call my nephew Carlitos Nito. Carlito, yeah. See, Carlito is a, you know, it could be their dad's name Carlos, and then or just could be because they're small. And name's Carlos and they're small. So Carlito, you know what I'm saying? Another way to say junior in Spanish, Junito, Junito, Tito, or Junior, Junior, and Junior. You know what I'm saying? It just depends. Um, Real brothers are always uplifting each other. Much respect. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. They are. Steve Tortola. Ciao, my friend. Ciao. That means bye, right? You just got here. You're going by already, or you've been listening and you're just gonna bounce. Yeah, Canadian cat from up Italiano, Canadiano. I don't know how to say Canadian. Canadian. I don't know how to say Canadian in Spanish if they're even away. Campbell Ford. How you doing? Means hello too. Oh, okay, yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Yeah, I think yeah, ciao. It's like one of those things like in Hawaii, the word means hello, bye, how you doing? Uh, mahalo. What is it? Mahalo. Something like that. God bless Steve. Bless you. Yeah, Steve's a good guy. Steve's got support, and Steve and well as Marky Mark, they go elsewhere and they, you know, and they don't buy the bullshit that's been tried to be pushed about me on by people. You know what I'm saying? I think they base on, you know, like you should base things on how you've been treated by that person, not what other people are saying. You know what I'm saying? What is usually not usually, but what's been tried to be pushed about me is nonsense, bull honky nonsense. You feel me? And if anybody don't know, I did a short on it yesterday when I heard the news, and then today I dropped a couple shorts, and I did a video. Free Kane. Kane was released. Kane Velasquez, ex UFC heavyweight champion, was released on $1 million bail, and one of the shorts is him actually walking out of county Santa Clara County Jail facility, which is in San Jose, California, downtown. Um, but he's on the ankle monitor, and which is expected, right? And you know, they asked him, I don't know what channel it was, but the guy asked him, "Hey, Kane, you got anything to say?" And he said, I'm blessed." And he said that he was going to try to make the best out of this situation as possible. Me personally, I mean, I don't know what he can, how to do that because he already lost 8 months of freedom, and most likely he's probably going to go to the pen. The only thing is, he's got Mark Garagos as his attorney, which was Michael Jackson's attorney at one point. It got Michael Jackson off, not guilty verdict. Uh, they're trying to railroad him too. From what I don't know if things changed with that, and he was released. He was granted bail by Judge Arthur Bocanegra, right? Um, and I also read that he's got to do some. He has some appointments coming up with doctors on CTE, the brain thing. He was a fighter, right? I don't know if you guys seen that fight with him and Francis Ngannou, the champion now. That was pretty ugly. Um, you know, somebody I was talking with somebody earlier, and they were like, 5 years ago, we took my son, and he was like, the doctor told him basically that those type of things are found upon they stumble upon these type of results during an autopsy, and obviously he's still alive. But I told him, I said, when was this when this happened? He said about 5 years ago. I said, well, just imagine how modern medicine and procedures have changed in 5 years. Like, for example, I had to go today for an EKG because I got switched to, I was given this medication, and they want to make sure your heart can handle it, right? I guess it's just proper procedure. But I had did a EKG one time before, about 7-8 years ago, and uh, at that time they actually hooked up. They rolled in a machine. They hooked up all these things to me, and they had a monitor, and they not so much watched it right then and there, but obviously they had it hooked up to something where they were able to print that out or monitor it again. Go over it and look at it. Well, today all they did was they hooked these things up, these sticky things up, one to each ankle, in the inside of my ankle. They put one on my like here on my shoulder blade, another one on this side, and a couple more like on my chest, high chest, and then more towards the middle, and literally it took about it was about a that part of the procedure was literally about 5 minutes. But then I was told, because this is the type of procedure that was going on today, that I had to talk to a doctor. But then the doctor never even came in, so I don't know what happened there. But anyways, everything was all good. So I use that as a as an example on how medical has furthered and advanced in that amount of 7 years. So it has to be the same thing with that, I would imagine, right? So the CTE, everybody knows boxers get it, football players get it, pro wrestlers have issues with that, and it's from all the bumps, all the hits, all the punches, all the helmet to helmet things. Getting hit with steel chairs and wrestling, all kinds of different things that cause problems to your brain, right? Um, I don't know if you guys are familiar with the boxer Pritchard Colon, Puerto Rican cat. He got hit in the back of the head in the fight, and everybody was making fun of him, saying that it was drama, and that that he should be up for an Academy Award. And then the other analyst or the commentator said, "Oh no, I don't know about an Emmy, more like a no." They said an Oscar, and he goes, well, "I don't know about an Oscar, maybe an Emmy." And it didn't really look like he got hit, but he ends up going to the hospital and then falling into a coma for over about 7 months in a coma, and then when he comes out, he's literally like a vegetable. You know what I'm saying? It's so basically it was like bleeding inside the brain. Just or in your head, but not your your brain is bleeding, but it's on the outside. You know what I'm saying? CTA is real as fuck. Yeah, I know. I follow boxing. Unbelievable punishment. Yeah, you seen that deal with Pritchard Colon? See, Garagos gonna give him the best shot though out of anybody. Garagos will get him the best he could get. Period. Yeah, that's the thing too. Garagos, back to that. Okay, so it's allegedly that Kane went 11 miles chasing this truck that had Paul. I forgot his name, but Paul was the stepfather driving. The mother was in the truck, and then the perpetrator, Galarte, was in the back, I guess. And they said that allegedly Kane shot into the truck, hit the stepfather in the shoulder, how do you say that? Not a superficial wound or something like that. And then the stepson got hit and non life threatening, right? Okay, the mother the mother they tried to subpoena her, probably to appear in court for testimony or something. I don't know, and they can't even find her. The stepfather said through he relayed a message through his legal his counsel that he is not going to assist the DA's office, Santa Clara's DA's office at all. Okay. Then the fucking perpetrator, Galarte, who was in the back seat, who is the alleged perpetrator. And the reason I'm doing all that because YouTube's funny when it comes to the R word, right? Um, he was charged, right, for the funny business, and then um, prosecutors was against him being released, but he still ended up getting released on bail. Okay, but what's going on with that? What they're doing with that now is that they're basically putting his case off until Kane's case is resolved, and once that's resolved, then they'll bring him back up for charge. Start continuing on pushing forward with his case. I don't get it because people that don't know about the system as far as the legal system, I don't know if this goes for everywhere, but California, cops can get on the stand and say, so and so told me this, so and so told me that, and they can testify about it up until trial starts. So it'll work for pre-trials and all that. But if it's gonna go and Kane and saying I'm taking this all away on his counsel's advice, Mark Garagos, and says yes, let's do this, and they take it all the way to trial, then everybody, his accusers, he has the right to confront his accusers. So what that means is anybody that said they seen him do this or that or that or the other got to get on the stand after they're subpoenaed by his lawyer, and then that's when they'll come at him and ask him whatever questions. But they have to show up. So one party you can't find, the other party saying they're not going to assist at all, and then you got the weirdo that's been charged also by your same office, right? The same office, Santa Clara County District Attorney's Office made charges against him as well. So it's kind of like in my opinion, my book is a railroad, right? I said that most likely he'll do some time. But hopefully if he only ends up getting, I think at this point, and this is what I was thinking before, that he wouldn't get no more than 6 years. You know what I'm saying? He's got 8 months already credited. Now, what I have seen before is like them coming at you, giving you a sweet deal, like say 3 years with 85%, amend the charge a little bit for lesser time, and then say, okay, well, you got 8 months credit already. That's going to be considered dead time, no time, count it. And then you turn yourself in and you start over to do the 3 years with 85%, which that's 36 months. So you'll be doing something like, 32 months? Something like, well, let's see. 18 would be half, right? 24 months would be 75%, right? 8, 24, 8, 32, no, 36. So that'd be what? 18. So it'd be like 40 months, I think, at 85%. The reason why 85% is because of violent offense, right? Justice, I don't think so. This Cotaza. Did Dana White step in yet? I think Dana White helped bail him out. I remember a lot of different fighters saying that they were willing to help him or whatever. So also Mark Garagos, because when you hire yeah, hell yeah, 3 to 6, right? And then it would be even better, man, if they just came at him, because let's keep it real. District attorneys, judges, right? Cops, they're fathers too, right? And even though it's taking the law in your own hands and being a vigilante, it's still, I mean, come on, man. Think about the kid. Think about where his mind was. But it'd be even better is, well, of course, they just dismissed it. But the best scenario would be credit for time served, CTS, credit for time served, CTS, right? And give him a 5-year felony probation, right? Put him on probation for 5 years, and then take away. Obviously, his gun rights would be gone. But credit for time served with the 8 months he already did. So that would be considered 8 months. That would already be considered pretty much like a year right there, a year off the sentence. You know what I mean? And let them go like that. You know, it'd be cool even if the DA came in there saying, all right, 3 years, 4 years, and the judge stepped in and said, you know what, I'm going to give him a year credit. You know what I mean? Credit for time served. Excuse me. That would be cool. You know. Oh, okay. So that's a potential left case. Yeah, that's what they're saying. They're saying he's got a premeditated attempted murder 3 times, right? Because there's 3 people in the vehicle, and then 10 gun-related charges. So probably firing in the community, firing into a vehicle, all those. You know how they do it, man. They when every time it comes to a gun or gangs or anything, they charge you like 10 different ways. You know what I'm saying? Basically the same charge. It is what it is. You know what I'm saying? Um, that would be cool though. What's that charge carry? 12, 7, 12, 15? That's a lot. Yeah. Why is everything mixed up? I mean, just doesn't make sense. Oh, so when you get an attorney, they have their own peoples that work for their office that are investigators. Maybe a private eye, whatever. And Carrigo said upon their upon their investigation that they found out that the mother and the stepfather knew that this fucking weirdo was doing funny shit. You know what I mean? Another thing, not only can they not find the dude's mom, she's missing because they were going to subpoena her. Um, Stepfather, like I said, already said, related a message through his counsel that he's not going to assist the district attorney's office in Santa Clara, but they also put up the property for sale where they had the daycare at, because it was a daycare. Um, and in my video earlier, I was saying that, when these kids are in your custody, just like if they're at school, their well-being, their security is your responsibility. You know what I mean? So if you knew that something like this shit was happening with not only Kane's little one, but perhaps other ones, and you didn't do nothing about it, you just allowed it to happen, and you can't say, oh, well, I didn't allow it. Well, you still got him living with you. Why he should have been thrown out. You know what I mean? And the stepfather's only not the stepfather's not willing to help the prosecution, the district attorney's office, only because he's looking at this. Cha-ching, he's looking at a lawsuit, a civil court against Kane. That's all he's thinking about. The heck with these kids being hurt. Who gives a shit? That's scum, man. That's scum shit to think like that. It is. I think 7 different charges for AR-15. The DA adds all this mumbo jumbo. Every one of them is like 3, 3, 3, 7, and they all added all. Yeah, yeah. So my son last year. Okay, so he turned 18 in December, right? And this was it was a matter of fact, it was the beginning of February. He caught a pistol charge. He was riding with somebody. Dude had a pistol in the trunk. They got pulled over. Obviously, he didn't say it was his, and the driver didn't say it was his, so they took them both to jail. So when I'm looking in the bail and his bail and all that, his bail was 350 grand, and basically they charged him with the gun 7 different ways, different names of the charges, but all the same shit. And when he got to court, as soon as they called his name, the DA dropped it all because come on. Cops shouldn't have hauled them both in. If this guy's the driver, he's the owner of the car. The law is 9/10 of the law is possession is 9/10 of the law. So you got the keys, you're driving. Even if the car's in your name or not, you're driving, is in your possession. You got something in the trunk. Why would you take somebody else to jail when there's no possible way you could prove that he had access to put that there? Because you didn't see him do it. You didn't see him moving around in the car, all in the back seat, trying to. I don't even know if the car had that, where you can, the middle piece, that armrest, you can get in there like that. You know what I mean? But yeah, that's another thing. How many motherfuckers you hear saying, oh man, they did that to my kids, I kill them. Or I give them my life to protect my kids. Or, You fuck with my kids, you die. Or, I walk to the ends of the earth for my kids. I give my life for my kids. This motherfucker, Free Kane, fucking did it. Got his fucking 40. Said, fuck this. And went whatever he did, allegedly. Right? Huh. Most motherfuckers just talk out their ass. You know what I mean? Uh-oh. Uh-oh. CT, what up, my boy? Long time no see, player. Hello, everyone. Hope all is well. I have been under the weather myself, but better finally. Yeah, because I was going to say, I ain't seen you in a while, but I know you better than to believe that bullshit hype about your boy Big Lou giving up anybody's information. That's a crock of shit. You feel me? Hey, what a beautiful sunset, Big Lou, behind you. I know I was tripping out on that. I had a homie beat a gun charge. He had a convertible and had the top down. Real shit. And he beat it. Said it wasn't his. Yeah, I guess anybody could have went by and threw it in there. You know? Remember, you don't have to prove your innocence. They got to prove you guilty, you know? LOL. Yep, kept it all the way, gangsta. Nope, never that. You guys know that I know you guys seen this. He got he's got a TikTok. He does the shorts. The dude, the Arab dude in I'm pretty sure it's New York. They go in there and he does special like honey bun meals when he'll put bacon and egg and all that. And he does all kinds of things. People will take a pizza in there and he'll add stuff to it, the Aki way, they'll say. And then they'll say, like right now when I read that, when he said, right here, he said, we talked about that weeks ago and no way you would do anything like that, bro. And I go, nope, never. And so they always say, don't forget about the Bev. Never. Because I'll never do that bullshit. Even if like you called me and say, hey, Lou, let me get Marky Mark's number. I won't give Marky Mark's number to you or anybody. Steve Tortola, I won't give him your number. I'll be like, hey, Steve, hey, Mark, Chris said, was trying to get your number from me. Is it cool to give it to him? And then if they say, yeah, then that's different. I'll never fucking do that. That's what I don't do. What do you say? Exactly. That's what he said. And he beat it. He did about 7 months in county and beat that charge. Yep. Was he on was he on parole or probation when he caught that case? Or he just couldn't or the bail was just too high? Because remember, California is big on bail. These dudes open up a bail bond location. They usually expand and have multiple locations, and they make a ton of money off this shit, right? It's big business here. In 2016, it was voted off from doing that bail. It was how would you say that? I guess it terminated, right? And then what these guys did was they went around getting a whole bunch of signatures to put it back on the ballot in 2020, and they won, and bail was back in force, or however you want to say that, back in business, right? And what they do to you is if you have prison priors, like me, for example, I've been to prison 5 times on actual, like New York, you guys would call it bids, right? I did 5 bids. So here we call them terms. So you got 5 bids, right? Terms. They'll charge you $10,000 each term, or on top of whatever the bail is. So say you get busted with a pistol charge, right? Or possession of sales. Usually 49,000, 59,000 is the bail. Now I got 5 prison priors, so 10,000, 20,000, 30,000, 40,000, 50,000. Add that on top of the 49,000 or 59,000. Then if you have strikes, it's 20,000 per strike. So I got 1 strike. So that'd be another 20,000 they would add on there. So now you're looking at what would that be? 119,000 or 129,000, right? It's ridiculous how they do shit. It's fucked up. There's been a couple times where, 2 times where my bail was 200 grand. Another time it was 100 grand, and it was all for non-violent bullshit, petty shit, commercial burglary. Motherfucker went in the store, took something. Um, my bail was 100 grand one time, and my co-defendant I got busted with, his bail was 50,000, 49,000. And the next day we went to court. Judge gave us another court date, and we went back to the jailhouse, went to sleep. Next day, we wake up, we programmed as much as we could. We were both in medical. I didn't see him. Well, matter of fact, I did see him that night because they had moved me from one area to another area, and then I was able to come out because I had an infection, and he had one too that had popped already. And anyways, we were eating dinner, and then we ate dinner, and we went and locked it back down, meaning we went in our cells and closed the door, and single cells. And about 8 o'clock, somebody comes to my door, opens it. It's a sergeant, and he says, "Hey, roll your shit up. You're being released." And I'm like, "Oh shit!" So we get released. Look, we end up taking a taxi, getting dropped off downtown, and we finally found our way. So the next day, his dad comes, picks us up off the freeway. We go to court. Then I end up getting caught up. We end up going our own ways, and then I get caught up again. And this time they got me on 3 counts. 3 counts, but they charged me twice for each. It was 3 different days, but because I made a couple different trips and took some stuff, they charged me 3 different dates, twice each date. So it ended up being 6 felonies I caught for that. My bail ended up being 200 grand. I'm thinking, I'm not getting out now. I'm stuck until I get to the pen, right? But nope. One day they popped my door open. I just got a new cellie. He came from I forgot what town he got arrested in. He comes in, the door pops. I'm laying down. I'm not getting up. Fuck that. He was already on his feet, so he comes out and they say a last name. Dude comes. They say a last name. Hold on. They say a last name, which wasn't my last name, but it started with the same first initial. And they say Velasquez. And so he turns to me and says, "Velasquez." And I said, "No, ain't no fucking Velasquez here. Vegas, right? Vega." And he goes, "Vega." And then they go, "Oh yeah, Vega, roll your shit up." And it was me. Bah, I'm out of here. Boom. You know what I'm saying? I was gone. And I was like, fuck, I gotta get out of here in case they make a mistake and say, "Hey, come back." So I got the fuck ghosted, boy. You know what I mean? I couldn't believe it. Kane did what any real man would do when it's exactly what I was saying. My brother, too bad Cali doesn't have a crime of passion rule. I don't know. I really don't. Yeah, well, I guess so. Carlos, that's a fucking fact, bro. Yep, exactly. See, you said it right there. You did 5 bids. Rats don't do time, right? I am a good judge of character, Lou. I know you aren't good from the inside out, bro. Yeah. You know, another good thing is they never even came at me ever. You know what I'm saying? They never even came at me and asked me anything. The couple of dope cases I caught, they never even asked me, which I'm glad. You know what I'm saying? I don't like talking to them motherfuckers. Even the couple times that I was a porter in the building, dude would get at me like, "Hey, let the cop know." I said, No. Sorry, dude. I don't do that. You know what I'm saying? I don't feel comfortable doing that. I'm not going to go to him saying, "Hey, the guy in cell 210 said he didn't get his medication." I don't know what to tell you, homie. I said, wait for him to come by or ask one of these other guys. I'm cool. I don't do it. It's nothing personal, but I don't do it. I remember the job I got now. When I first got when I got promoted to the lead spot first, there was some people on the property that weren't, acting strange and shit. And they were like, they told me the company that we're subcontracted through, they were like, "Call the cops." And I didn't even budge or even respond to him when he told me that. Then like, I don't know, 10 minutes later, he asked me if I called the car. I said no. And he kind of like got loud with me. And I had to say, not loud with me, but he kind of got a little bit like, "Why not, dude? I told you to." So I had to take him to the side. I said, "Look, dude, don't talk to me like that in front of people, period. Don't talk to me like that, period. But don't make it look like in front of people, you're, something." I go, "You want to call the cops? You call them. That's not part of my job. I'm not doing that. Because I'm not, first of all, I don't feel comfortable, period. But what if they come and something escalates and they fucking shoot this dude or something? I'm not being no part of any of that shit, period. Calling the cops, nothing." And so once I talked to the dude, I said, "Look, dude, I've been in and out the system. I've been ratted on with the fucking wire on. If you guys haven't, go check out my video when I tell the story about my so-called homie, my friend, a guy that was a sister married to my cousin. Fucking, we used to kick it tough. I mean, he used to roll with me to my family's house in different cities, spend the night with me, different things. Had my back a couple times with dude. Just a lot of shit. He ended up telling on me wearing a wire, bro, for nothing. Go check that video. It's titled "When My Supposed Friend, So-Called Friend, Rats on Me" or something like that. What Mark say? Too bad he didn't slow his roll on that and think it through. He might have got away with it scot-free. But either way, he did the right thing. Nice. Call the cops, call the feds, call my lawyer is the new gangster. Yeah, right. Tell me about it. Call the cops, call the call the cops, call the feds. Yeah. That's crazy. Stop glorifying the rats, huh? And then I didn't watch it, but I seen a thing pop in my feed. A certain content creator did a pretty extensive interview with Sammy the Bull, and like Sammy the Bull Gravano, and I'm not even intrigued or want to know what they talked about. That dude turns me off so good with his embellishing, always trying to make himself look like the hero, like most of these guys do. And it's funny too, because the guy that interviewed him was talking really bad about him one time, about that he's a scum. He's not all that what people think of him. And it's like, nah, dude, he was the real deal back then. They obviously needed him, or they wouldn't even confronted him about, working with them to take out Big Paul. You know what I mean? He was from Brooklyn. They needed a fucking liaison between Brooklyn, which is why Frankie the Chico was there, but also this guy, and it is what it is. But I have no desire to watch that at all, period. My phone's about to die. Hold on, give me a second, people. I gotta plug it in. Give me 1 second. All right, got that bad boy. I'm down to 15%. Oh, just got a text message from my brother talking about going on a cruise with him and his wife, me and my lady for her birthday. But it's not, there's some very important things coming up. Probably ain't gonna happen. But it's cold, man. The weather. I don't know where you guys are at. No scraps in my scrapbook. I don't know about you guys, but where you guys are at in the nation. I know Canada's pretty cold, and I know Trox in Rhode Island. I know it snows there as well. So it's definitely noticeable, the change of weather. It's very cold. Like a lot of times, I had somebody ask me one day, we're on the phone. He's a New Yorker, and he's from Staten Island, but he lives in upstate New York now. And he was asking me about when Christmas comes, is it snowing and all that? And I said, nah, not really. I've never seen snow in person, other than going to the area where, to go and slide down to go play pretty much in the snow area, and I said, a lot of times I'll even just have a t-shirt on. I won't even have to put a jacket on, because there's been some warm winters, like certain days of the month. And he was like, oh no, that's weird. I can't even, get with that or something. He said, I don't remember what he said exactly, but it tripped him out. It is what it is. Exactly, rat. Exactly, rat. I never watched the ratty shows, any of them. Yeah. Well, originally, a lot of these cats, you want to hear what they have to say, especially when they're new, and you want to hear some of the things. Well, I don't know. You say you don't, but me, I'm not gonna lie. There's shows I watched, and I got I watched a lot of the shows. I used to watch his show, Sammy's, but when I seen that clip of him and that United States, what was it called, United Mafia States of America, the way he was getting at Mike Francis, like basically like saying, he was just getting at him tough and trying to push the narrative like Michael's less than and Mike's worser than him. And just listen, the dumbass idiot will come on, he'll say that in the Vlad interview, like, oh, I testified on 38 guys. I could have testified on 338 guys. Like, oh, wow, really? Thanks. You really did these guys a favor. Get the fuck out of here, man. He told on the Chin. He told on John Riggy. Those are two bosses from different families. He told on, obviously, Gotti Sr. He told on a bunch of captains from his family. You know what I'm saying? That's why I said when John Jr. took over, he took over a mess. His father was just giving life. The number 2 man told on everybody. The number 3 man also went down with them. A few different street bosses went away. He told on a family out of Jersey and another New York City family. He told about the stuff going on with the Columbos. Just a straight up poo butt, piece of crap, man. You know what I mean? But let him tell it. He's a hero. He done everybody a favor, and he was getting thrown under the bus when really, actuality, when you speak to people that were from that area that were in the know a lot more than obviously me, because I'm not from there, but from all the reading I've done, and again, leave it up to him. He says, oh, the FBI said nobody ever talked bad about me business wise, but all these guys that were getting knocked off were all beneficial to him. Sammy's story has been told a trillion of times, always the same, and heard 1,000 of times, same shit, different. Yeah, well, the content creator of this channel, I was watching him the other day, and he said that he asked some questions that not the same old John Sr. things, and there was a lot of other different questions that he was asked about different people that you've never heard him talk about. But even then, I still had no interest. You know what I mean? He's weird. Also, when he came out with that Bella and the Bull, whatever, that young girl that works for him, it just was a cringy feeling, like weirdo type feeling, when the way he tries to put these jokes, these type of, not so much sexual jokes, but just I don't know, man, weird. To me, weird. I'm cool. I don't want to, you know what I mean? It's like Marky said, it's played out. You heard the same shit over and over again. Carlos throw in Gambino, Colombo, and force it to the yeah. But you know what? Even with that Dodo Bird, he was saying a lot of true things the other day about he said a lot of true stuff the other day about somebody that was pushing that false narrative about me and my brothers, that we were doing something as far as giving out information, a bunch of bullshit. Marky Mark, I will be embraced and loved if I don't show my face. Yeah. So I don't care what door, I don't care where you're at. The doorway entry, the entry to a door is 7 feet. I don't give a fuck. You're in New York, you're in Florida, you're in Cali, you're in Chicago, you're in Texas, 7 feet. And if you're 6'8", it's only going to be about, so much, right? From your head to the top, not a fucking ruler and a half. You know what I'm saying? 5'6", 5'8". I heard some people say 5'4". I heard some people say it was more like 5'8". Some people said 6 foot. I heard a few different things, but nobody said nothing about 6'3" or bigger. That's for damn sure. When you go swimming, don't splash water on others. Yeah, that's kind of tough, ain't it? That's kind of tough not to do, but depends the amount of water to splash. You know what I'm saying? But yeah. It's it's just funny, man. I mean, how many guys, these guys that come out and tell their stories, do they actually keep it real about? It's usually this guy's an asshole. That guy's that guy's an asshole. This guy's a money hungry fucking greedy fuck. This guy, he's okay, but you really don't hear nothing, really like legit in no type of details about, like, I'm not saying huge details, but something more than just, oh yeah, he was a good guy, he was respectful, like nothing more than that. Oh yeah, before I forget, R.I.P. Frank Lastarino, another true believer of that life. You know what I'm saying? Do your time with your 10 toes down and zip the lip. You feel me? Live interview with Darius from 60 Days In. Oh yeah, Darius from the last 60 Days In is coming on It.Talk, and they also interview Carlos. And let you guys know, I made contact with Abner from 60 Days In. He got back at me. He sent me a couple messages, like recorded messages, camera, where he's showing himself. And then I kind of got at him about, maybe coming on, and I don't get it, man. It's some type of excuse. Oh, I don't have this, I don't have that. Instead of just telling me no, I don't want to do something. I don't have this, but maybe later when I move, come on, man. I don't have YouTube. Well, you don't need YouTube. You get on the stream. It's just weird, man. It's so much. It's beating around the bush. So I just finally said, it's all good, man. I'm not into them type of games. You know what I'm saying? Just either yes, no, or maybe later. But it wasn't even that. It was more like excuse after excuse. Can't do the time, don't do the crime. Yeah, haha. After damn, that would be big. He gets a lot of comments on the internet. Yeah. I thought that, me opening up to him a little bit about me being an ex-con and having now so many years of being out of trouble, and he did the same, right? He said he did 7 years and 5 years. I figured that, I'm like, look, I want to highlight ex-cons that did well, and and it really means a lot to me to highlight, especially my own people. You know what I'm saying? And he was real respectful. I'm not saying anything like that, but it was more like, oh, well, right now, and it wasn't even that. It was more like, oh, I only have TikTok and IG, And then he did ask me, is it a podcast or is it YouTube? I said, it's a YouTube channel. I go, it's a fresh channel. I mean, as far as, I haven't been around that long. It's small as far as subscribers. You know what I mean? And it was more like, I don't have a stream. I don't have a YouTube channel. It's like, and it's like, YouTube channel, you don't need a YouTube channel to come on somebody. And then he said something else too, like, I don't have a stream or something. I forgot how he said it. And I'm like, by that time, I was just like, okay, cool. I said, all right, man, you have a good one, man. I just left it at that. He started bringing up something about moving, getting settled in. It could just be all that. Like I said, I'm not talking bad about the dude. He was real respectful. I just would appreciate it more if somebody would just come out saying what it is. Like, no, I can't do that, or nah, I don't really dig that. I'm not into doing that type of stuff. I think what it is, he's looking for a bigger platform. That's what it is. Because he sent me a link to a guy named Michael Santos, and this dude did like almost 30 years in the joint, 26, I think. And he's out, and he's got like an organization. I don't know if it's a nonprofit or what, but he goes around talking to people. And he brought that up to me about when he said, is it a YouTube or a podcast? And I think, basically by him sending me that, I think he was telling me, like, this is what I'm with. I'll do these things. Because he said he went on the dude's podcast. So I'm thinking that that's what he's looking for, a bigger platform. You know what I'm saying? Which that's good too. But just, we could have killed a lot of that back and forth. You just would have said straight up, like, well, I don't do YouTube, or I like doing bigger platforms. I'm a big boy. I could take it. You know what I mean? Ask Tom to have him on with you on the show as a co-host for the interview. He might have been cool because of the smaller platform you currently have. Tom, yeah, I guess so. But look at It.Talk. If they only knew, they don't have a real huge platform, but they've already had Carlos on from 60 Days In. Tonight they're having Darius on from 60 Days In, season 7. You know what I mean? And I think they had somebody else on too. Stacks. I don't know if you guys know, Stacks is chatting with Stacks. He had a couple 60 Days In participants. I can't think of the lady's name, but she was black broad, the skinny one from excuse me, I shouldn't say broad. African American lady from New Orleans. She was in the one with I think that was season. Was that season? I think it was season 3, when she was with the white lady. And they said that her teeth were too good to be in here, and that
It was three women. Three women. No, it wasn't season 2 because season 2 was when Muhammad Ali's daughters. I think it was season 3, and they had three ladies in the one pod. It was her. It was Brooke. That was the white girl's name, Brooke, and then Vivian was the other one, the Latina looking lady, and then it was her from New Orleans, and she had the. I don't know if you guys remember, but she had the blue in her hair, and the undersheriff was like, or the captain, whatever he was. He was like, I'm gonna need you to take that off because something with the gangs. Yeah, but yeah, Tom. Yeah, maybe. I don't know. I don't really know how to do that, but maybe Yeah, maybe that's a good idea. Maybe Tom can bring him on with his 15,000 subs, and maybe I can stream it or join it, and then I don't know. I don't really want to do all that though. I feel that if you can't rock with me, and I'm being open with you and telling you what I'm about and what I got going on, because everybody starts where I'm at, right? At one point, everybody only had 320 subs, right? It's a grind when it comes to this. You know, uh, you know, if I'm opening up, telling you a little bit about me and where I've been and where I've come from and where I'm at now, that should be good enough for me. You know what I'm saying? I don't think I should have to have, you know, 10, 15,000. I'm saying for me to continue and go at him again and be like, hey, how about coming on to my buddy's thing? You know what I mean? I don't think that's cool, in my book. But it's definitely it would have been a good option. Carlos, don't forget, you gotta change your race too. So you'd have to either so you'd have to be either Irish or Italian, like I like. Oh yeah, I ain't even gonna fuck with that dude. That dude's a clown. Remember that? He said, oh, I'll be in California in 2 weeks tops. I said, great, can't wait. And then what? Now 4 months, 6 months down the line, never seen him. Sure ain't came down here. I swear to God, boy, I'm gonna, because there ain't no patching that shit up. I give a fuck. You don't cross the line. You threaten my life. You know what I'm saying? I was gonna mollywop that motherfucker, dog walk him. Yeah, Carlos, you were a Genovese Westie. Ha ha. Yeah, yeah. So yeah, you know what I mean. It is what it is, man. But yeah. So Kane did what a real motherfucker would do. Not only he said it, he was about it. You know what I'm saying? Prison shit. The overcrowding, being stuffed in the gym, triple racks like sardines. You know what I mean? Even the fact that you're in a cell with another cat, even though you're in the cell, you're in a cell, and it's just you only have to deal with your cellie instead of being in a dorm having to deal with 200 people, or at least the people in that area, which is still going to be a good 20 people, right? I'd rather deal with my cellie, you know what I'm saying, only. But even then, sometimes depending on how it hits off, sometimes you're like guessing, like, what's his problem? What's he going to say next, or what he's going to do next? Can you imagine being in a cell? I remember one time, man, my cellie, man, and this was a good ass cellie, man. Me and him were cellies 3 times. Timmy Irish, what up, man? Nick M, what's going on? Appreciate you guys stopping in. Nick M's been a good, hell of a supporter of the channel, man. He's been making comments on the videos. Appreciate you, Nick M. Timmy Irish, welcome. I'm glad you're here as well. Can you imagine? So my cellie, man, like I said, we were cellies 3 times, and I just spoke to him recently too. So he's trying to be, the good Samaritan, and there was a homeboy that I didn't know him personally, but I knew some of his family. And when I met him, he had been down. I met him in 2007, and he had been down since, in the joint alone, he had been down since like 83, 82, and he had a couple murder for hires. And so he'd been down since like 80, 81 altogether. So when I met him, so you figure 80, 81, and I met him in 07. What is that, 26 years? No. How long is that? 97, 20, yeah, 26 years. And then he ended up doing a total of like, I heard he's out now, because when I said I know his family, one of his cousins I seen, and he said he was out. He did like, and he's only been out about 4 or 5 years. So if you take 4 or 5 years off of now, that would be what, 2017. So he did about 37 years, right? 36 years. Okay. I met him, we're talking. I find out that I know his cousin. He starts bringing out old pictures from like the late 80s, early 90s of cats that are from his town, Stockton, that I know personally. They're old G's, but I know them. And so like, I'm tripping out on all these pictures because even before I started doing time, and he's got a lot of pictures where they got red, red slingshots on the tank tops. They got red bandanas on. I'm like, wow, I never seen that personally. Yeah, I've seen old pictures of it from like my primo, my cousin and stuff, but I never seen it like in person. But then when me and him are talking, this ain't my cousin. So it's like I'm seeing other cats that I know, and then seeing how they look back then. They were all, healthy and yoked, you know what I'm saying? Because I knew them. Like a couple of guys that I know, they're like 70 now. One of them was like 70, the other one's about 66, so they're not looking, they're looking their age, like all the dope use caught up to them, stuff like that. But so we're talking, and then his cellie's from San Jose, named Angel. And so my cellie would end up doing, bro, he was trying to be a good Samaritan and do a move behind my back to try to alleviate their problems, because these two guys been cellies for like 3 years and don't even talk. And it's been like that for them for like at least a year and a half. Can you imagine that? Okay, so the one cat from Stockton, he works. So he's gone all day from the morning after breakfast, about a half an hour after breakfast, about 8 o'clock, up until like 2, 3 o'clock, he's gone, right? And usually what he would do is when he get out of work, he'd come back to the yard, and he would finish out the yard until it was yard recall. So yard recall is like usually 4 o'clock. So he'd be out there working out from the time he got released from Voc and work, because he had a good job too. He was on the IDL. That means inmate daily labor, and he was doing those bunks that are in the thumbnail, those emergency bunks. He was the one actually putting them together, welding them and doing all that. So he made like I think he made like something like a dollar an hour, 50 cents an hour. I forgot, something like that. But this is the best paying job at that institution, because that place didn't have PIA there, right? So this was the best job. And then I ran into him in another pen, and he had that job again over there, because when you go to committee, your classification committee, it shows on there your history of where you worked, what type of work you did, every school you're in, every Voc you're in, and if you got certs in them, certificates. And so it showed on there he was IDL. So boom, they put him right in there. He got on, and they were doing all kinds of different things. Like they're helping the outside crews renovate the prison, the walls, all that shit. And he's right there doing it. When they lay concrete on the yard with the rebar, and he's right there working with him. You know what I mean? So he had a good job. So like I said, they get released like 2 o'clock, 2:30, something like that. I forgot exactly what time, but he's got 2 hours on the yard, and that's when he would get his workout on, and then come home and then bird bath. And I think his cellie was third watch porter. So from 2 p.m. to 10 p.m. he's on the clock, right? 5 days a week, you get days off, the RDOs, right? That's your days off. And he would be out there, as a porter, cleaning, sweeping, mopping, cleaning the showers, all that stuff, for that building. And again, you only clean your side. So, one side of the day room is with the 2 showers. Okay. 2 showers on one side, up and down, upstairs, second tier, first tier, and then the bottom middle shower is whites, Southern Latinos, Paisas, Native Americans. So the other side being Northern Latinos, blacks, and Samoan Islander Asians. You just clean your shit only. So you do your one side of the day room, you wipe down all the tables, the benches, you sweep, you mop, you might run the dust mop, or the dust I don't know what that's called exactly. That's that red one that's long, and they use it to wipe to sweep down, sweep down the gymnasium floors, the hardwood floors. We got those in there, and use that. And then because we had those bunks in the E bunks, they would have one cell one on the A side, one on B side, with the bunk area was caged off. You only had access to the toilet and the sink, and that was for the guys on those bunks to use the bathroom. So you got 20 guys to use one toilet. Same thing with the other side. So he would be cleaning while and I'm thinking too, because depending on who the cop officer is in the tower, they might let you get in that shower because of your job. You know what I mean? So when Pancho would come in, he might have been able to shower. I don't know, depending on how the relationship is with the floor cop and the tower cop. I don't know. You know, if they knew he was daily labor, I don't know. But nonetheless, he would have privacy to go into the cell and bird bath because the celly angel was out. So, anyways, my celly takes it upon himself to, I don't know which one he got at, but he was like, "Oh yeah, we could switch. My celly could go, with one of you guys, and the other one could come with me." And when I found that out, I said, "Come on, man, what the fuck, dude? Come on, dude, how you just gonna volunteer that shit? I understand you're trying to be the good Samaritan here, and to alleviate them getting into a physical altercation or something, but you're just gonna volunteer me to move, and then what? I'm gonna have to get on the top rack because no, hell no." And it wasn't like that me and him didn't get along, because otherwise we wouldn't have been cellies 2 more times after that. It was just the fact that he was trying to be a good Samaritan and try to help the situation, alleviate anything from happening. And I go, "No, sir, not with it. We ain't doing that, dude. There's no way I'm gonna lose my fucking bottom bunk." Because the reason I'm saying that, because I believe Pancho had a lower bunk chrono as well, where he had to be on the bottom bunk. And I didn't have mine yet. But luckily, up until that point, for the most part, I always got the bottom rack. You know what I'm saying? Carlos Muniz, how are you, pal? Timmy Irish, I'm good, brother. Tommy Irish, Carlos Muniz, how are you, pal? Carlos Muniz, no fly zone Ricans, answers, Timmy Irish, I'm good, brother. That's right. I was talking to somebody earlier, man, and I was like, he was like, "Man, this YouTube thing, man, I met a lot of good people, man." And I'm like, "Yeah, motherfuckers from, clear across the other side of the nation, New York, Florida, Jersey, from here, California." I go, and then even beyond, over the pond, England, Ireland, Scotland, you know what I mean? Australia. I said, it's cool, man. It's what's up. You know what I mean? And, dude was telling me too. He says, I'm a pretty good judge of character, man. He's like, a lot of people are asking me for my number, and I keep telling them, all right, yeah, like basically telling them, yeah, putting it off, but he's still needing a little bit more time to fill them out, And then that's when I was like, yeah, you're a good judge of character, bro. You can tell from my demeanor, my character, how I've been thus far. You gave me your number. I go, and you got this other jive ass motherfucker with no name, fake name, fucking no face, putting out false bullshit about me giving up his information. And keep in mind, I've never even had a conversation with this dude ever. Never. You know what I'm saying? To say that he thought we were homeboys. How the fuck? Homeboys? Homeboys are people that grew up together, known each other since they were kids or young men. Homeboy my ass, right? And then you got these other two bozos who go by fake names also, that play characters and say, "Oh, we know 100% sure that Big Lou gave up the guy's information." And then when I call him on it, you know what I'm saying? And I know that I said this before, but I'm gonna say it again because there's new people here that I don't think were here that day. I call them out on it, and a certain content creator was there, and they weren't touching my comments. And then she said, she started reading my shit. And she's like, "Oh, yeah, I could see why he would be upset if lies were being put out there." And then these two bozos say, "Oh, well, if it's not true, we'll apologize." But wait a minute, you already say for a fact that I did this. Now you're talking about, well, if it ain't true, apologize. And then I have to prove that I didn't do this. And then not even 2 minutes later, you say, "Oh, I'm sick of this shit. All this he said, she said shit. If you're going to make accusations about somebody, have the proof." Okay, wait a minute. You just said that I had to prove it. So anyways, and that's another thing. I don't know if these clowns think I'm trying to get in good graces with them like it used to be. No, I give a fuck. You know what I'm saying? If that's all it took for you to turn on me like that, or not even turn on me, but just play the part like you didn't know, or you're outraged and this and that, when you knew all along about certain things that I didn't even know you knew before me. And then yeah, nah, man, nah. And then for people to read it and then in the comments say, "Oh, really? I didn't know Big Lou did that," and then just believe it. You know what I'm saying? And these are people that's actually been on the show and on the screen with us. First time ever coming on the show. They came on our show, the No Fly Zone, and then fucking, how are you gonna believe some people that don't even have a real identity? You know what I'm saying? Like, you spoke to me, you've been on here with me. These motherfuckers are phony ass frauds that are playing a character on YouTube. You know what I'm saying? And just believe anything they say. You know, whatever happened to where's the receipts? All these people making these accusations always got the receipts. Like my brother Carlos here, some bullshit gets said about him. You know what I'm saying? And kids, not weird stuff, but just, oh, he's sharing pictures of people's kids, like shit that don't even make sense. And then the person whose kids is supposed to be says, oh yeah, content creator got a hold of me and said that Carlos did this and sent him this. But then they say, oh, but I haven't even seen it yet. But you just got to take my word for it. And then somebody real close to her says, oh, I don't believe that yet. I don't believe that about Carlos. I got to see the proof. And then this person says it on their show, word for word, just like what I said, and then says that this guy that told him that has to take the word for it. But they're always with the receipts on everything else. But when it comes to the no-fly zone, fucking, you know what I mean? Three of the realest motherfuckers there are on here. You know what I'm saying? We don't lie about nothing. There ain't nothing to lie about. You know what I'm saying? The same way I am when I'm talking right now is the same way I am in person. You know what I'm saying? Somebody came on here the other day and I didn't even know it was him. I'm reading the fucking comments and then I realized it's fucking Frankie D, and you know, he knows me in person, and I'm not no different. You know, I don't play games, man. It's like, who got time to fucking go in somebody else's chat under a different name and fucking talk troll all day long? Like, damn, man. You know what I mean? But you know what? Keep it real, man. I don't even want none of you motherfuckers. You know what I'm saying? That will take something that you hear and just run with it. Oh, really? Thanks for telling us. Didn't know Big Lou was like that. You know what I'm saying? Kiss my ass, motherfucker. And I don't give a fuck. Take off down that yellow brick road. You know what I'm saying? That's all it took. I don't need you. We don't need you. You know what I'm saying? And the ones that have been solid on this so-called mob tube, which that sounds fucking retarded. You know, Marky Mark's been solid. There's only been a few. Drito 5K's been solid. There's only a few motherfuckers been solid on here, man. Steve Tortola's been solid, you know, and a lot of it has to do with Chris Trock, that, you know, they don't care what they're hearing. They're judging shit off by how your character's been, how you've been carrying yourself on here. You know what I mean? Lou, you can tell you're good. Yeah, man, I don't lie about nothing, man. I straight say it. I wasted many years of my life in that fucking place, prison, right? I found a couple visiting pictures, that I'll post them at some point or use one as a thumbnail. It's just that they're shaped funny. Like one of them is me in a visit with my sister, but I cut her out of it and it's long and it won't fit on the thumbnail. So I got to figure out how to, you know, how to change that, or, you know, but I'm a good suit. Yeah, dude. But yeah, so yeah, man, you know what I mean? I don't brag. I don't come on here and bullshit. You know, I got plenty of integrity, man. You know what I'm saying? Cops, we need them, bro. We need cops. I don't got no person. I don't have no problem with cops. I do have a problem with somebody that says they're an ex-con and that they used to be fucking a 1%er and fucking they're Billy Badass all their life and they're fucking the same height as fucking Blackjack Mulligan, right? Ernie Ladd, and they'll whoop everybody's ass, and anybody that says anything against what they've said, they're a fucking liberal, a libtard, right? They're a bitch, they're a punk. Everybody's a bitch, everybody's a punk. If you say anything against them, you're a liberal. You know what I mean? Come on, man. You might not agree with what liberals think, but all liberals are bad because they believe something different than what you believe. It's fucking weird, man. You know? And with that being said, never mind, I'm gonna leave that alone. Just, it's insane, man. It's all YouTube fucking bullshit. You know, you listen to some of these clowns, everything about their life is perfect and, you know, been perfect for many years. I mean, when I mean many years, 30 years, you know, they've been married to their wife. Their wife was a 10 back then. 30 years later, their wife's still a 10. Come on, man. You know what I mean? You got to come on here and lie about your age. You're saying you're 52, but you're really 64. You know what I mean? Like, come on, man. It's ridiculous. And another thing is people are afraid to fucking push back on things, man. They're scared that to rock the boat. You know what I mean? To call people out on their bullshit. You know what I mean? Again, I'm gonna say it. If you're a fucking if you receive fucking accolades and fucking hardware from the military, right? But you really haven't, That should bother the shit out of every American, right? Because I said it before, and I'm gonna say it again. When, depending on how old the soldier is or the Marine, right? They might be a young man going. Maybe they went to Vietnam when they're 18. Something happened. They got killed when they were 20. They probably most likely don't have a family yet. So their mother and father, their grandparents, their siblings, all they got to remember him by is Purple Heart and a fucking American flag. Maybe they didn't even find his body. Maybe he's still MIA, his body, and all they got is a Purple Heart and a fucking an American flag to remember him by. Okay, maybe the person's older and he's been in the military for a while, and he's already had wife and kids. All his family's got, kids and the wife, got to do, remember, all they have to remember him by is a Purple Heart and the American flag. Anybody that's false flagging, it's fake, false, stolen valor, should be ashamed of themselves, and nobody should accept that shit. You know what I mean? The excuses why somebody won't show their identity is all of it's lame crock of shit, because you shouldn't even be running your mouth like that. You know what I'm saying? If you're not willing to go all the way through with proving your point, or saying who you are, then you shouldn't even be running your mouth, period. You know what I mean? I don't see how that shit's okay with people when a grown man, or supposedly a grown man, is calling another grown man a bitch and a punk and doing it on the internet where he's hiding. And then fucking you're not giving that man a proper opportunity to get with your program and knock your block off your head, off your shoulders. You know what I mean? I think that's cowardice, and nobody should fucking accept that shit. You know what I mean? Nobody should accept that shit. But what this clown did now is that now he goes lives because he thinks he reinvented himself. So he goes lives now, hoping that everybody will forget about what he's already had what has already been smashed on him about. In other words, the things people have proved for him to be a fraud. Now he's like trying to come on the lives to now hope that people forget about certain things. And now it's like, haha, I'm here. You know what I mean? Which that's a crock of shit. You know what I'm saying? You can say what you want. Oh, you went after fucking Tony Pizza because he was a racist, this and that. And and then I guess the other day he said some fucked up shit. And then, you're like, oh, I'll destroy you again. But it's like, dude, when you don't like somebody, all kinds of racist slurs come out your mouth. Like, what does the fucking beans got to do with anything if you don't like somebody? What does a banana boat got to do if you don't like somebody? What does being an immigrant, why would you call somebody a gorilla's name? I don't get all that shit. Like, don't like somebody because you don't like them. You don't like their get down. But to fucking bring all those fucking bullshit, and it's not once, it's not twice, it's not 3 times, it's 4 times and more. You're just not calling the people that line with you those type of things. But anybody that you feel is going against what you say and what you believe, you try to bully them and fucking like you're some fucking. It's a joke, man. Straight joke. You know what I'm saying? It's a straight joke. It is a joke, straight up. Fucking, are you kidding me? You think motherfuckers, I don't care what state you're in, you think you're going to be calling motherfuckers punks and bitches or even raising your voice at people? Yeah, you might whip a couple of them. Like I said earlier, I seen a cat whip 3 guys twice. 2 different sets of 3 guys. But eventually they got him. I don't give a fuck how big you are. You can't see. You don't have eyes all around your head. These motherfuckers got weapons, bone crushers. They got steel that will be put up in you, in your body. You get that? You'll be sliced and cut deeply. You know what I'm saying? Come on now. And this is all for educational purposes. I'm not making no threats to anybody. I don't want to see nobody get hurt. I'm not saying that's even will happen. I'm just saying, let's keep it real, people. You people that ain't been to the system, don't get fooled by some of this bullshit you hear. You know what I mean? Tony Pizza is a homeless guy. Are you asking that? Or are you saying, or Nick M, are you asking if he's a homeless guy, or are you making the statement that he's a homeless guy? If you're asking, yeah, he's supposed to be homeless for the last 16 years. I don't understand how that happens. 16 years. If that's true, that's because motherfuckers ain't willing to take the help because they don't want to listen to rules. Everything's structured. When it comes to things, you have to abide by rules, because there's no way a decade and a half you're homeless. There's so many programs that help you get off the streets, but you have to follow rules. And then they will set it up to where you will have your own bank account and money saved in no time. You know, even if it takes a year, you got your own bank account, money to move in, first, last deposit, first and deposit, whatever, and take it from there. You know what I'm saying? There's no reason. But again, like I said, people don't want to follow rules. You know what I'm saying? It is what it is. Uh, unfortunate, it is what it is. But even him too, he embellishes shit. He lies about a lot of shit. He says that he was a fucking he worked with a couple different families. He brings up different names, heavy hitters. Uh, you know, and it is what it is. But we no fly zone, because that's the original channel, the no fly zone, and then What to Do with Big Lou is a spinoff. Uh, that's why that's why it's called What to Do with Big Lou NFZR2, No Fly Zone Ricans 2. And then I don't know, Carlos, he's gonna get around to making his own name and doing his own thing too. That's an option, but you know what I'm saying? That's up to him if he wants to go that route. But we never were part of Mob 2. And then we had somebody say, "Oh, well, you guys were never invited into it." That's fine. Say it however you want to say it. It's all good in Hollywood. I don't want no part of it. And to be honest with you, those of you that I had met over there, such as Marky Mark and Chris Trock and Drito 5K, and there's a few other ones, a few other people. You guys have kept it solid. I'll rock with you guys all day. But to be honest, have anything to do with a lot of these other people that turned out to be straight plasticones, straight plastic ass motherfuckers, straight followers instead of being leaders. I'm cool. You know what I'm saying? Vete pa carajo. You know what I'm saying? It is what it is, man. I'm just keeping it real, man. Like, that's what we do. We keep it real. You know what I'm saying? What's real? I haven't seen him in a while. Hope he's okay. MRE is good people. Yeah, see, I never said nothing about, like, MRE, man, when they came out with, oh, he's a racist and all that shit, like, we were like talked about like we were like, in other words, we're dumb, like we can't see the writing on the wall. And it's like, dude, it has nothing to do with none of that. The man treated me with respect all the time. I spoke to him on the phone, in chats. I've been on the panel with him. He treated Carlos, he treated Nelson, anybody that I've seen that was Latino or even a person of color, he treated them all with respect. You know what I'm saying? So I don't give a fuck of what his ideology is. If he was with that shit before and not now, if he's still with it now, none of that matters on how he treated me. Now, if he was telling me, oh, this, that, that's different. But he never has. He always treated me with respect. He pushed the channel. He pushed this channel. He shared the channel. I mean, he found himself in a little, I don't know if you want to say a hot play. We had that a-hole come at me talking shit. It was in his chat. And, obviously he was mad because I had a wrench there. He couldn't block me. That was pissing him off. He basically wants to tell content creators what to do, basically. Even if MRE comes out saying, look, don't block nobody unless they say this or that. But don't come over here blocking people just because you don't like nobody. But no, leave it to this dude. He's going to do what he wants. And it doesn't matter what you say. He got a wrench. He's just going to block you if he don't like you. And so he got mad because I had a wrench. He couldn't block me. Then MRE made his decision to take my wrench. And, whatever. I don't, the wrenches don't mean all that to me. You know what I'm saying? But, I never fucking talked bad about that dude. Even when they try to say he was telling on people or he told on people, I never pushed that narrative. I never came out here saying that. I won't, you know what I'm saying? Because I haven't seen enough to say that, I keep it real. The paperwork doesn't look good, you know what I mean? But doesn't look good is not being legitly 100% nothing, and I've always kept that. That's how I always felt about him, about not only him, anybody in that situation. I'm not going to call nobody that wrote it until I see the P-dubs. And it's got to be in my face. I got to see it. I can't go and see this guy post this stuff about somebody because who knows what that dude did with the, who knows? You know what I'm saying? And people will do anything, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, MRE's good people. Yeah, I can't say nothing otherwise. Based off of the way he's treated me, always with respect. You know what I'm saying? He's always had respect for me. And I'm not gonna. That's just me, bro. I don't do that. I can't call them. I can't go against somebody, anybody, and call them two things that that they, were singing like a canary, or that they got those weird charges on. Because some people, just because they don't like you, oh, you're this, you're that, you're a fucking piece of shit. Nah, I don't do all that. I can't do all that. And it just shows that you're not really a convict if you're doing shit like that. You know what I'm saying? Uh, and there's some other stuff too. I'm not really going to get into it because at the end of the day, so many people on here don't know about the system. You know what I mean? They don't know about the system. Um, and certain things are alleged, and if it comes to where they end up taking getting convicted of it, it's bad for them for the rest of their life. Possibly could be killed for it. So I understand why somebody might have done something. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not going to get into it because it's not really something to talk about. Um, you know, it just is what it is. I'm going to leave that alone. They all gang up on him. Who, Tony Pizza? They all gang up on him. I guess you're talking about Tony Pizza. But yeah, tomorrow, live here at What It Do with Big Lou, NFZR2. Baby, baby. I got special guest Harvey from Harvey Talks Prison. He's from the state of Missouri. He was a lifer. He did 29 years. He's been free about 6 years now. So I got him coming on tomorrow. He's already said I can ask anything. So if you guys come by, it'll be, like I said, 3 to 3:30 p.m. Pacific time. So if you're back east, that'll be 6:30. Reason I say 3:30 because I'm not sure yet. We haven't just determined exactly what time he'll be available because work and different things. So he don't know when he's going to get home exactly. But New York, Jersey, Pennsylvania, New Jersey, New York, even Canada, Florida, it's 3 hours different. The South is 2 hours difference. Some parts of Arizona, Arizona, parts of Texas is only an hour difference. So I don't know where you're at, but come check it out. Ask questions if you got any questions. If need be, we have to do 2 parts, and we'll do that. If you're out here calling other people rapos and rats without P-dubs, you are not a convict. Exactly. You don't know our code and how we ride and keep it a buck. A fucking buck. Damn right. When we say keeping it a buck, keeping it a buck means keeping it 100. 100 mean honest across the board. Don't embellish shit. Don't fib. Don't put a 10 on a 2. You feel me? Being honest as you can be, because especially in the system, especially in California, shit will catch up to you. You know what I'm saying? There's certain things you just don't do. And Mark's from Southern Cali. I'm from Northern Cali. We run 2 different group segments, but it's still the same ideology. It's still the same schooling. We've been schooled the same way, when it comes to different things like that. Calling people those things. And when he says P-dubs, P-W, I said P-dubs, that stands for paperwork, black and white. You can't make accusations about somebody without reading the paperwork. And the reason why real convicts don't do it is because your big mouth will get your ass in trouble. In other words, you're opening your mouth before the proof gets here, which you're going to get disciplined for. Who knows what else? And then if the paperwork does finally land, the P-dubs, guess what? You opened your big mouth, you're going to be the first one to go take care of it. I'm picking up what you're dropping. I'm picking up what he's putting down. And everybody needs to pick up what he's putting down and what I'm putting down. Right? Because I'm not gonna be on here misleading. I'm gonna tell it like it is, right? In this case, I can call it like an alcoholic. You know what I'm saying? I won't mislead or misguide people. You know what I'm saying? There will be some things I will not touch and talk about as far as organizations and active players in organizations. I'm not with that. But I will say things that are well documented from 20 years, 30 years back. I hear you, Marky Mark. Nick M says it just shows a certain EIIness in certain types of people and how they were supposedly schooled. Yeah, that's the thing, though. I don't think they were schooled. They're playing. They're Nick M. Yep, yep. Yeah, it's not. It's not that how they were supposedly schooled. I don't. They weren't schooled, and everything they're reading when they try to make it sound like they've been there and done that. Like when certain somebody starts, sounding off gangs in Chicago, you can tell by the gangs that he says it's the ones that are always in the headlines: Latin Kings, Gangster Disciples, Vice Lords. What about all the other ones that ain't always in the headlines? You know what I mean? Like Imperial Gangsters, the Gaylords, fucking Latin Devil's Latin Disciples. You know what I mean? Uh, Puerto Rican Stones, fucking Spanish Lords, fucking. You know what I mean? It's all fucking literature that's read off the internet. You know what I mean? Straight up. You know. Um, yeah, it's just people need to start pushing back on things. You want to ask me something? Ask me. You know what I'm saying? I'm not here. I'm here to fucking, you want to ask? Like I said, I I'm not new. I'm not new to this. I'm true to this. You know what I'm saying? So if you ask me something and I know, I'm gonna tell you. I'll let you know. But like I mentioned earlier, I stay away from saying active people's names, and I don't like saying the organizations either. I'll keep it to the minimum of Northern Latino, Southern Latino, and I'll say maybe Southsider. Um, I'll say something like the so-called Northern Cali, uh, the big organization, or the Southern Cali organization, even though at one time it wasn't that. There was no geographical lines. It was people from up north were in as members of the so-called Southern Cali organization, and cats from down south were in the so-called up north organization. You know what I'm saying? It is what it is. But I don't feel that like even earlier when I was talking about a chain of command, that's about all I'll go. I'll say like maybe somebody has to check into the person running that tier or running that yard. But I'm not going to get into specifics of what those positions are called. You know what I'm saying? Within the collective that I run, my group segment. You know what I mean? Marky Mark is crazy, and they actually think they are stand up. Yeah, I know. I mean, let's listen to this. Okay, it's only ratting when you tell on your friends or your family members that you're doing dirt with because you can't do your own time. But you picking up the phone, calling 911 about something is not ratty. Uh, and I'm saying it in the aspect of a person that has done time before, not a mother or a citizen guy that works and he's a stand-up citizen, calling 911 because somebody's just ran into his car, went off the road and hit his car. That's different. You know what I'm saying? Or somebody's in his backyard or something, or somebody's looking through the windows or whatever the fuck. That's not the same as somebody that's a convict, that's an ex-felon, ex-con that picks up 911 to say something about somebody. You know what I mean? That's ratting too. That's telling. You know what I mean? It's crazy how when it's the other way around, how the narrative's twisted and how it's justified and minimized what they're doing. You know what I'm saying? And like I said, I brought up something about somebody feeling so entitled and to pick up the phone and call 911, and of course it's twisted on me. Oh, you got a problem with cops? Why cute your cops? What the fuck you talking about? You know what I'm saying? WTF, man. What the fuck you talking about? Bruh. You know what I mean? Since you like to put those little slangs in there. You know what I mean? We need cops. Can you imagine this world if we didn't have cops, or this nation? What would be fucking happening? But crooked ass cops can suck a motherfucking, you know what, and take it right up the poop chute, because we don't need them scumbag motherfuckers. You know what I mean? That's what it boils down to. You know? We won't even tell I'm the one who ratted on. Exactly. That's what I'm. Yeah, I was raised. You're a bitch. You're a bitch. That's another thing. How can you say there's no such thing as snitching on a snitch? Are you fucking kidding me? So I tell on Marky Mark, and then I tell on Marky Mark, Carlos, fucking Nick Am, fucking everybody in the chat right now, and then one of you guys telling on me, that's not all bad. Come on, man. You shouldn't be fucking giving no information on nobody. Not getting on the stand and testify and point the finger at nobody. You know what I'm saying? Dude, don't you guys know about the stories they tell about somebody that fucking filed a lawsuit against somebody? How that's looked down on too. Come on, but you're gonna get on the stand and say, well, he ratted on me, so I'm gonna go ahead and rat on him. You know what I'm saying? Like Larry Mazza said, Ali Boy Persico said him and his father knew that Greg Scarpa Sr. was a rat for 20 years. Are you serious? Mom is a G. You know? Marky Mark's mom's a G. Gangster. That's right. Some mamas are like that, bro. Some mamas are like the neighborhood, like the, everybody likes going over there. She treats him like, like her own kid or whatever. Down to earth, fucking, like you said, his mama's a G. Not all moms are like that, not all dads are like that. You know what I mean? But it is what it is. Man, time flies, man, when you're having, when you're spitting real shit, man, and the chat's interacting back with you. You know what I mean? That's what's up, man. I got 2 minutes and 2 hours and 56 minutes. So I'm probably gonna tap out about the 3-hour mark. Guys, go and check out my the videos I posted yesterday. Today I did a yesterday and okay, wait. Today I did a video on Cain Velasquez, and I also did another video on, because when I was talking about the reception center the other day, I didn't go over how my day was, how my everyday was inside there in my cell and the movements that I had. So I did a video on that today. That way I can get the reception center out of the way and step on to the next part, you know what I'm saying, of my little series on my CDC experiences. This one right here wasn't really so much a part, even I guess you could say it was, but it was just enlightening people on how those bunks, what those bunks were, and why does it look like that? Those bunks being in the day room, and then people standing in front of the doors behind. You know what I mean? I think what I'm gonna do next is talk about when you get to a main line, how it rolls as far as the everyday being in there every day from the orientation aspect, because you have to be on orientation first. Where you're locked in your cell, they put a sign on your door, orientation. It'll usually have your name and CDC number, and then orientation means you're new there. You got to wait to go to committee and get cleared to come out of your cell, and they self-feed you. Some joints don't, though. Some joints you'll be on orientation, but you'll still walk the chow. Like Soledad was like that. Then those are all cell living, but then you got level 2s where you'll be on orientation, but you have to stay in the dorm. They take your ID from you. Other ones, you can go to yard immediately. It's all a trip. It just depends where you're at, what joint you're at. The rules change. It's different rules. Not the rules change. It's just every joint runs their program different. And that all boils down to pretty much the facility captain, the yard. And what I mean by facility is each yard is considered a facility. So, for example, since I was talking about Pleasant Valley earlier, you got Pleasant Valley, you got A yard, B yard, C yard, D yard. Those are all behind the wall, cell living. Then you have that little yard outside that's called E yard, and that's the support yard. And what that means is you support the big prison. So you do all the trash for the big prison. You pick up you go inside. Again, you got to go through R&R to get in there. Even if you're a worker from the outside, you go in there, you collect all the trash from all the different yards. So you got, again, A yard, B yard, C yard, D yard. They're also the ones that get all the hot shit. So hot pots, CD players, stuff like that has been thrown out because they were confiscated because they weren't legitly in somebody's name. Those guys got action. So the guys that do laundry, they work for that level 1 yard. They go work the warehouse where they got canteen, laundry, the blankets, the supplies, and they get all the loads that are going to be dropped off to each yard, ready for the main prison, right? Um, Also the food that's in the warehouse, stuff that's going to be cooked, all that different things. And I don't know what else I missed because I've never actually been there. But it's the level 1 yard, and they're usually always called E yard, or the older prisons are called the ranch. And same deal, same concept. They work for the main prison, with all the different deals, like I just mentioned. Also, what am I missing? They wear like a jumpsuit that's like a fluorescent yellow, like a greenish yellow. I also seen them in like a powder blue. And I've also seen like an orange jumpsuit type deal. And you stick out like a sore fucking thumb, right? Wherever you're working at. They A lot of them they'll work the side of the roads, picking up things. They'll also work the parking lots, the landscaping, the parking lots of the visiting parking and the administration parking. They usually do the landscaping out there too, so people can just drive in there, drop some shit, you know what I mean? Some tobacco, some shit, however, and then it's their job to poop it, baby. Put it up that motherfucking poop shooty. You know what I'm saying? Right in the vault, in the suitcase. You know what I mean? But now they got these new machines now where even like coming back from the visits, you don't even have to strip naked no more. You stand on this thing and it rolls forward, and it goes back and it's scanning your body. With Marky Mark, you're a real dude. And I seen you on another chat. You were funny as a mofo. Yep. Yeah, he's came on here a couple times actually on with me. Few times. About 3 times, I think now. So yeah, they got that going on now. So it's a little bit harder to get stuff in. Other than that, I'm not going there. Definitely not gonna, as far as everybody knows, free staff, the actual COs. But as far as like how they do it, I'm not going there. Not knocking nobody's hustles, not knocking nobody's line of getting that money, man. Gotta make that money, man. For the love of money. I'm not about that. I'm all about capitalism. I don't knock nobody's hustles. I might not agree with the way they do it, but I don't knock the actual outcome of them making money. No way. So I'm not going there. But it is what it is, Marky Mark has always been a day one real one. Yeah, yes. Yep. That's why I was saying earlier, Marky Mark. I forgot. Oh, Drito 5K. I mean, these dudes, ever since I made contact with them, or they made contact with me, been all good. They've never been anything else of what they've been real. You know what I'm saying? They've always kept it one way, never flopped over another way. It is what it is, Big Lou, were you ever locked up with Boston people? Okay, so growing up as a kid, my neighbor across the street was married to a dude from Boston, Boston Bill. So he would say things like, we're going to have a party, park the car. He'd say shit like that. I'm trying to think about the inside if I ever met anybody from Boston. New York for sure, New Jersey for sure, Chicago for sure, Florida for sure, Miami, matter of fact, because they called the dude Miami. Met blacks and whites from Chicago, Mexicans and Puerto Ricans from Chicago. Remember a white dude from New Jersey, blacks from New York, Puerto Ricans, New York, whites from New York. I met cats from Tennessee, Alabama, Georgia, Atlanta. No, I can't think. No, I don't think I met anybody from Boston. No, I can't. No, I can't place nobody. Not from Boston. Not on the inside. But the cats that I met from like Chicago, the white dudes that I met from Chicago, I met 2 of them, and they both belonged to Puerto Rican gangs in Chicago. So when they got here, and then one dude from New Jersey, we called him Jersey, and he ran with the whites, but he had been in San Diego for a lot of years when I had met him, and he already had been to the pen like 3 times. So he was already well used to the politics here. But the dude from Chicago, the two guys, this was their first term in prison here in Cali. And luckily I had this conversation because the dude slept next to me, and the other guy from Chicago, they used to hang out together like this. So they were sitting on his bed one day while I was on my top rack, and we were chopping up. And I was telling them about how I had people from Chicago. And then they started telling me, because they see my flag on my arm and my other flag on my back. And they were like, that they seen that. And they were like telling me that, that they were from, one was from Imperial Gangster from Chicago, which is a Puerto Rican gang. And the other one was a, how do you say that? I don't know if it's Devil's Latin Disciple or if it's Latin Devil's Disciple. No, Latin Satan Disciple or something like that. And another Puerto Rican gang. And then they were telling me like that a lot of Mexicans were coming over there and a lot of Mexicans were joining their gang. But really, if you go back to the Latin Kings back in the 60s, might have been late 60s, the picture I seen. It was one of the original clubhouses of the Kings, and on the door they had painted a Puerto Rican flag and a Mexican flag. And I remember in the documentary they were talking about I can't even think of his name now, but they were talking about Gino Colon, King Gino Gustavo Colon, which is one of the leaders who's been down for a lot of years, and he's in the SHU in Colorado, ADX, I believe he's still there. And they were talking about him and this Mexican dude that was considered, I guess, a co-founder. But Kings came out way back. I've seen documentaries where they said the Kings came out like in 36. I've seen it where it said 1940, 1942. Heavily inspired by the outfit, Capone and Frank Nitti and Tony Accardo. You know what I mean? And a lot of the other gangs from Chicago, they have that get down, that swag, that Italian, Sicilian get down. You know what I mean? I did a video on it. I was hoping to do a part 2 with the friend of the channel and the friend of the No Fly Zone channel, because he's from Chi-Town and he knew some heavy hitters growing up. You know what I mean? But he got turned off by another channel, and he doesn't really want to go no more live. So we'll see what happens. He said we'll talk about it, but we'll see what happens. You know what I mean? But the dude was telling me about how he doesn't like the two guys from Chicago, that they didn't like the politics in California because they're from Puerto Rican gangs who they consider their brothers, right? When you're from the same gang. But they made it clear also that, they didn't make the rules, and they're sure not gonna. They didn't make the rules, and they ain't gonna break the rules, because let's face it, you break the rules with something like that, and you want to start just because the dude's Puerto Rican, such as myself, and you're white, and you're from a Puerto Rican gang back home, you're not no longer in home. You're far from home, Dorothy. So to start trying to give me food or me give you food, or too closely embracing, like in other words, too much like what's up, and give each other what's up and a pound and all that. That's out. Let's see. Angel Gotti, Becky O was arguing with Josie. They were arguing with Josie. Yeah. I don't. Angel's cool. Becky O, I never had no interactions with her. Josie, I never really dug her get down when I heard her come out there and call Lee Cole, even though I don't like his get down. I don't believe he deserved to be called a weirdo. Remember what weirdo means here in California, guys. Weirdos, things with kids or women, right? The R word. I don't think he deserved that. Those are one of the two things that I don't call people without paperwork. Again, he didn't deserve that, and it just showed how messy she is when she did that. And I don't got time for all that stuff. It's old. It's the same shit every day. It's the same bashing of people, the same people, same thing with the other side. I can't go for that shit. When men are talking about other men in the form of suck my what and slapping them and punching them and beating their ass, but yet nobody's doing nothing. I wasn't schooled to do all that woofing, all that self-soldier shit, which is the new age fucking keyboard warrior. I wasn't raised with none of that, and it just turns me off when I hear people talking like that. So I stepped away from a few channels way back when, and one of the channels said that I turned on him, and according to him, I was supposed to denounce everybody that was doing shit that I didn't agree with publicly. Nah, that's not the way it works with me. I just step away and I stop watching. It's that simple. I didn't go out here bashing nobody publicly. I just step away, you know? So I do me. Nobody's going to tell me what to do. Nobody's going to tell Big Lou what to do when Big Lou's been through all what Big Lou's been through up until this point, and I'm still alive. You know what I'm saying? You think I'm going to come on YouTube and I'm going to allow somebody that don't even show their real fucking face, don't show their face or go by their real name, is going to tell me what to do? And I'm going to be scared, supposedly? The fuck out of here, man. You didn't bump. Matter of fact, do me a favor. Go back to that wall or that tree you bumped your head on the first time and bump it back and see if it'll knock you back into reality. You know what I'm saying? Because, or I would fucking, you know, if I really knew you, like you say, we're homeboys, I would have sent you this boxing glove. It's a boxing glove that's on my wall. It was actually on my dad's wall originally. It says, if you want to know how hard George Foreman hits, back up about 10 feet and run right into this fucking boxing glove. You know what I'm saying? Obviously, it's not really a boxing glove. It's just a picture from a magazine, and it's on the wall. So a lot of these motherfuckers down here need to do just that. Back the fuck up about 10 feet and run your head right into that fucking tree. You know what I'm saying? And see if it'll knock you back into reality. That's why I ducks with you. That's why you ducks with me. You fucks with me, man. Yeah, I see you fixed it. That's why I'm that sued you be hollering at, man. Yeah, that's what's up. But yeah, man, it's hilarious. Fucking some of these clowns. Uh, you know, you got some of these dudes coming on here talking about, oh man, because you know a lot of these rappers are getting killed, right? It's crazy how this shit's going. I mean, yeah, rappers always got, not always got killed, but there's been a lot of incidents here and there where they've lost their lives. Now it's just too regularly. The past 2 or 3 years, it's like every other week we're hearing somebody getting killed, right? But now you're hearing these dudes talking, hey, when you come to California, check in with us, man. We got your back. Like, get the fuck out of here, dude. Get the fuck out of here. You sound ridiculous. And the clown that says this, I mean, he got skills, boy. Behind the mic, he got skills. I'm not even going to lie. But off the mic, as far as when it comes to rapping, when he's still on the mic, he's talking straight out of his ass, man. You know what I mean? He's talking about people being, he's talking about prison politics, but never even been to the joint. You know, and he's just basically, all he's talking about is from his little stints in the county jail. Now, don't get me wrong, LA County is wild. It's with the business. But you're not going to go to the LA County jail 2 times and did a total of 3 months and then get on here talking about politics. Come on, man. You know what I mean? If you've never been about it, shut the fuck up. You know, if you've never been part of the business on the street, and what I mean by that is the same way you function behind the walls with your peoples, you function on the street. See, a lot of people don't even know what the fuck I'm talking about. I lost them with that alone. Unless you know you're from the north, Northern Cali, you know, you're going to know exactly what I'm talking about. If you're really with the business where you network with your homies on the street, you're going to know what I'm talking about. You know what I'm saying? But just some lame brain motherfucker that did a total of, you know, 60 days in the county jail 3 different times. He's been there and he did a total of 60 days and wants to talk about politics. You're out your league, buddy. You know what I mean? Straight up. But yeah, Nick M, I appreciate your comments. I appreciate everybody's comments. That you're one of the regulars that come in and comment a lot on the videos. And I always, like I say, I respond back to all the comments. I think that's important. Who knows how it would be if I ever get there where I got 150 comments in each video. I'll do my best. I swear I will. But I appreciate you and everybody else that comment. Also want to give a shout out to Just Chillin'. He made a remark about my shirt yesterday. If it was Pro Club, this is a different shirt, but it's Pro Club. I got Pro Club jackets. I got Pro Club basketball shorts. I got Pro Club boxers. I got Pro Club tank tops. I got Pro Club tees. I got what else? I think that's hoodies. Pro Club. I need to give me some Pro Club beanies, but definitely Pro Club. It is what it is. It's the best shit going. The thickest. It stays together after washing. Don't dry them. Don't hang dry them. I suggest. Let's see, Pro Club and Pro. What is that other one called? Pro 5. That's a pretty good brand. And Shaka. Shaka's another good brand. But yeah, Pro Club on mine's all day, a day. You feel me? Also shout out to Anthony Magnolo. He dropped me a Cash App the other day. That was my first Cash App on this channel at What to Do with Big Lou. Big shout out to you. I bought my coffee this morning with that, and those cream puff things I was eating. You know what I mean? Big thanks for that. Also, shouts out to Nelson Pad 52, Carlos Muniz, who's here with us. Uh, uh, lip gloss laxative, Leo. Uh, also agnostics. Tom Lavecchia. iTalk. IP Perez was here earlier. Latin Pain. Also, shouts out to Harvey Talks Prison, which he'll be on tomorrow, 3 p.m., 3:30 p.m. tomorrow. Be sure to come by and support the channel. Drop questions. He said he's open for questions. Shouts out to Stay Awake TV, Sticks. The channels, the Awake in the channel has nothing to do with woke. Okay, just so you guys know. Check out Frank's Vibes. Check out Doing Time with Big Weavy. Check out Vegas Prison Stories. Check out Yard Recall with Buzz. He just came on a minute ago. Check out the Sea Dog and Cooper podcast. Check out Armchair NBA, Mobsters Inc. He's got a new channel. Check out Driving New York with Skip. I caught one of his lives yesterday. It's been a while. I don't know why I haven't been getting the notifications. Also, check out, I know I'm a Gangish. If you're into fake news and stuff like that, check out Gangish. Off the Yard with Lance, Big Lance. Jay Williams, Let's Live Life. Very entertaining, real righteous stories about Virginia prison system, Department of Corrections. He's got a huge channel, huge platform. Check out, oh man, that pretty much covers everybody. I can't think of everybody. I just covered about 15 channels. So sorry if I left you out. It wasn't done purposely. It's just hard to remember everybody. New Age Plug. Check out New Age Plug. Check out Luke GTV. He's exposing this dude right now. Let me tell you what his name is. The guy's out of Oregon, and all his stories are like, he was telling. Okay, listen to this, guys. Especially you guys that done time. Let's see. Okay, it's not showing now. But you guys have done time. Check this out. This dude talks about, he shows a picture of the riot in Pelican Bay, that famous, infamous riot that happened like in 90. Oh man, I don't know what year that was. 93, 94 maybe. I could be wrong about the year, but it's the infamous riot where guys were shot by the tower, killed, left dead. A lot of bloodshed. And this dude shows that riot in the background. And this dude's like hit big on his channel. Like, I don't know exactly how long he's been on. I've seen his shorts come on in my feed. He's been around not that long, maybe 4 months, 3-4 months, but his platform's already grew humongously. I don't know how true this is, but he told me that he's only been on 3 months, 4 months, and he's already got over 200,000 subs. Okay, but what he says is this, and anybody that's done time know this is bullshit. He says that a friend of his that he met in there put a weapon in his cell purposely so that he would get caught with the weapon, not him, but the friend, the guy who made this channel. And so he would get caught with the weapon so that he wouldn't have to go outside and participate in this riot that was going to happen. And so that he would get on down the road by lowering his points and going to a lower level prison. How the fuck does that make sense? You get caught with a weapon in your cell. It doesn't matter if somebody put it in there or not. You're going down for it. You're going to the hole. You're going to catch a shoe term out of it, right? A 2-year shoe term, and your points are going to go up. You're talking about a weapon. Not to mention that the district attorney, if they give him a DA referral, that he could pick it up or she could pick it up and charge you with it. How the fuck is your points going to go down and you go to a lower level prison? No, on the contrary, it's going to be your points are going to go up. And then he says that he still keeps in contact with that individual that did him that favor, but the guy doesn't write him back. Come on, are you serious? Are you kidding me? Anybody that's doing time loves getting letters from the outside, especially if the way he described this guy, he don't have much interaction with the outside world, and he's not going to write you back. That's another bullshit ass lie. Then the dude says that he was down in Colombia, like a tourist guide, and that the whole time he was selling coke, big time coke, um, and that he would talk about the bird. Not he wouldn't say bird like let me get a bird, or quarter bird, half bird. He would say, let me get a chicken. He would say chicken, this and that. But those were just a couple of the lies that were embellished, that were totally wrong, totally a lie. And I don't know I don't know about you. I mean, I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to go out of my way to exposure, or however you want to say it. But some channels, that's what they do. You know what I mean? And when you're lying like that, I kind of, and then the couple stories I heard him talk, they were too openly. Like he would talk about, oh yeah, the shot caller, yeah, he tells you do this, you got to go stab somebody, and it was just too over the top for me. Like it was just, I could tell that it was a 10 on a 2, right? And then I happened to tap in with Luke GTV yesterday, and Luke's doing like an exposure video, and he starts playing clips back of this guy, and I start commenting, and then Sticks jumped in there, and it's just obvious. I had to like comment because a lot of people, everything they hear, they just roll with it. You know what I'm saying? And when it comes to the prison, a lot of people are infatuated by prison talk, just like they are about the mob talk. You know what I'm saying? Just about, and usually a lot of times it's people from over the pond, or people that are from Nebraska, Wyoming, kind of bumfuck Egypt in a sense. You know what I'm saying? It's a trip. It's a trip to me. It's a trip how people just hear one thing and run with it. You know what I'm saying? It's a trip. Mark, you're out. See, even Nick M knows that's bullshit. Nick M, I know you've done time, right? What's the name of that joint in Massachusetts? Is it Warhol or something like that? Warhol, I think it is. I don't know if you ever seen that cat. He's Puerto Rican dude named Danny. He had came out on After Prison show with that dude Joe. And he was telling, and he did 40 years almost straight. He did 24 in state prison in Massachusetts, and then he got out, and he was out about 6 months, 10 months, 8 months. Yeah, Walpole. There you go. He was out like 6 months to 10 months, and he got caught with a pistol and went to the feds, where he did another 14, 16 years. And when it was all said and done, he had like 39, 40 years in. He went in when he was like early 20s. You know what I mean? I think he was 20 years old, I think. And now he's 60. You know what I mean? Yeah, Walpole. There you go. Yeah, because some of them joints like Rawway in New Jersey, I think it's called. And then you got another old one that's in Pennsylvania. Then you got Attica in New York. Like California is a lot younger than most, all those states back there. So San Quentin only goes back to 18, I think it's 1857 or something like that, 1856. And then Old Folsom is the second oldest, and I think Old Folsom was built or opened up in 1905, I think it was. I've never been. My dad has. Okay. Yeah, so what county is what's the county that Boston's in? What's that county called? Because you always hear New York, you hear Nassau, what is it? Nassau. I don't know how to pronounce it right. Nassau County, uh, Essex County. Some of that might be New Jersey. I'm not sure, but you hear those a lot. You know what I mean? California has you got obviously LA County is the biggest as far as population wise. Land wise, the biggest is San Bernardino County. Then you have San Diego County, Everybody's heard of San Diego, I'm pretty sure. San Francisco County, which is there's only one city in San Francisco County, and that's San Francisco. That's it. You got Alameda County, which is Oakland, Hayward. You got Santa Clara County, where uh, Kane was just released from. That's San Jose area, which is, and San Mateo, which is Palo Alto, which is considered Silicon Valley, where the tech industry's at, right? Google, uh, Amazon. I think Amazon wasn't Amazon originally something on the computer. Uh, they got all that over there. Facebook's over there. YouTube's over there, which that's Google. You know what I mean? Instagram is Facebook, right? Same company, Meta. So they got all that over there. The price of living is so high, it's crazy. You know what I mean? But that's going everywhere now. Norfolk, huh? Placer County? Heather S. How you doing? Placer County, or you're saying is that California or is that another state? Because we have a Placer County here. That's Roseville, Lincoln, which I never been. They had a old school. I think it was called. I don't remember what it's called, but it was in Roseville. It was like an outdoor flea market, and then they also had that guy J.G. Wentworth. I think he was in Roseville, and he had that old commercial. If you want to was a gun. If you want to was a gun. If you want to was a gun. And he was a car dealership. That shit was old. I was like, I can remember that as far as back as I was 4 years old. So 40 years. Danios. Yeah. That's the flea market, right? Danios. Cal Worthington is his dog spot. Puts it count. Yeah, so you're not too far from me then. You're right. A little bit. I'm in Stockton. So you're a little bit past Sacramento. Yeah, Cal Worthington and his dog spot. That boy was an old man back then. Fast forward 40 years now, he's probably been in the grave 38 of them. You know what I mean? I don't know. Yep. So what else you got there? Lincoln, Roseville is, oh man, what was that other one called? I'm trying to think. I'm in Amador now, okay? So I think that's even closer to me now. What is that called? Lincoln, Roseville. Wasn't there something called something Eagle? Auburn, Rockland. That's what I was thinking about. Rockland, Auburn, Rockland. Okay, boom. But I know Roseville is the biggest, and then Lincoln. I met a homeboy from Lincoln in the pen, and he's doing good too now. Roseville, I met two cats from Roseville, and I'm trying to think in the reception center, I met two from Roseville. Rockland, Auburn. I never met nobody from Auburn or Rockland. I met somebody. No, I met a white dude from Auburn. No, from Rockland. Wherever he was from was where they used to do a lot of mining for gold and shit. The I don't know what the actual name is, but he would do a lot of that. That's what his family came up as way back when they came out west. And I think they came from Arkansas, I believe, or Oklahoma, one of those places. He was an Irish cat, and his family originally came from Arkansas or Oklahoma to Cali during the gold rush, and they settled in that area. See, that type of shit I like talking about. I like to learn about people, their heritage, what brought them here. You know what I'm saying? And I covered that before different times where I've told people how my peoples got from Puerto Rico to Hawaii and then here, and what took them to Hawaii, you know what I'm saying? Which was the sugarcane work, Damn, my nose is clogged up bad. Yeah, this weather, like I was saying, man, this weather usually it doesn't go like that. Usually it doesn't go from being warm, 70, 80 degrees, and then boom, we're having 40-degree nights. You know what I mean? Usually it's more, it works its way into it. You know what I'm saying? And we've been getting a lot of rain the last week or so. It's rained quite a bit. You know what I mean? Let's see. Yeah. So yeah, I got this. So like I said, I'm having tomorrow. I'm having Harvey on. Hopefully everything runs smooth. Hopefully he's able to get off. You know, he gets out of work in time and takes care of his business to come on between 3 and 3:30 p.m. my time. Snowed in, huh? Wow, I've never had that experience before. Um, Hopefully everything's all right. And they get a plow. You know, they plow that shit up out of there because my Jeep is down. LOL. Oh, okay. So yeah, hopefully everything runs smooth. Or Harvey comes on tomorrow. Harvey is a good dude, stand up cat. Um, like I've said it before, he's one of my favorite channels, or basically my favorite channel, uh, prison channel, if you want to call it that, because he's, you know, he don't sugarcoat shit. He's not one of those cats that get all excited and tries to use big words and tries to manipulate you in a sense. You know what I mean? He just says it like it is. He gets to the point, whatever the topic is he's talking about, and he says how he feels on it, and that's it. You know what I'm saying? So, um, basically, I want to touch on him as a 17-year-old getting caught up for this crime, getting locked up, going in there between, you know, these grown men. Um, Touch a little bit on his experiences, how he seen things change from, you know, his first couple of years in there, you know, midway and maybe towards the end. And then I want to touch big on how he transitioned back into the world, into society after being gone 3 decades, and how he coped with the big changes. You know what I'm saying? Because we all know prison stories. You're gonna hear the stabbings, the the violation of people's, you know, weird stuff. The stealing. You're gonna hear the the melees and riots and the cop shooting somebody and hitting them with the billy club and all that stuff. You know what I'm saying? I don't think that's really important, even though a lot of people like to hear all the bullshit before they, you know, hear the message. ML and R. What's that? ML and R. I don't know what that is. Miller Light, Miller Light, and Miller Light and regular. No, I don't know what that means. Um, So I want to touch on that, and I'm going to be also reaching out to different people, different content creators. I already been talking to 2 or 3 of them, you know, behind the scenes and on lives and stuff like that. So I'm hoping to get to network with these guys and collab on something. I also, like I mentioned to you guys, I learned how to do the thumbnails on the pre-records, recorded videos that I've already done, and then going forward, I just downloaded an app today where instead of me holding one phone playing a video and me holding this phone recording it, or vice versa, I downloaded an app today where I can put things on the screen and play it. It's like 2 cameras in one. Or I forgot how it's explained, but I can go back and take anything I find from anywhere, you know, Google, Facebook, anything, and use that app and put it on here, and then I could talk, right? Um, I'm working on doing the intro for the channel, intro, outro. I'm hoping to get the right beat, and then I can have my brother lay down a little opening, opening rhyme on it. Um, Also going to be working with probably Rich DM 650 on some banners. You know, that way when you go to my homepage, you can you know how people got banners. But the thing is, it's gotta be size right, because it's real difficult to just put anything there because it doesn't fit the size. So it's gotta be measured right. And I'm gonna be working on some new avatars. Because as everybody knows, I'm all over the place. Like I don't have a genre really, like a one set genre. I talk sports, prison, you know, I've had videos, you know, or mob stuff, videos where I talk a little bit of prison reform. Uh, you know, I'm all over the place. You know what I'm saying? So I want an avatar, you know, one with a sports theme, one with a prison theme. You know, maybe 3 or 4 different ones. That way I can change it up. You know, if I want to turn the camera off, See, like right there. I don't know if you guys can see it. I can see it on the StreamYard, but I can't see it on the. Sometimes when I go on the YouTube, it doesn't always show. You know what I mean? And this one was done by iTalk, Chapo from iTalk. But hold on. But what happens is um it's not how would I say it? It's not when I put it on the avatar, like see when you I don't know if you guys can even see it. Give me a one if you can see that avatar. If you don't mind. Let's see. Run you I don't know if you guys okay. Uh let's see. Hold on. So yeah, I'm looking at the YouTube now. I can't see it. Right? I can't see it. Also, if you guys haven't already, hit that like button, please. So yeah, I can't see the avatar. I can see it here on the StreamYard, but I'm looking at on my other phone, I'm looking at the YouTube, and it's just a white circle. So the avatar is not showing. Now I don't know if that okay, so I have two avatars with the big Lou no fly zone on it. And those ones work. I have another one that we did when on the no fly zone, we had we decided that one show I was gonna open up about my prison experience, and Nelson did a little deal where it said Big Lou and it, you know what I'm saying, it had my picture, and I took that, and sometimes that'll show up when I put it as avatar. Sometimes it won't, just like this one. So I need to get me some real avatars that are made that fit, you know what I'm saying? And that way I can switch it up whenever I want, turn the camera off, just boom, hit it, and the avatar be there. And then I'm advertising it right with, you know, what to do with Big Lou, not Big Lou no fly zone Ricans. You know, even though I'm part of that too. What I'm saying is when we do those, get back to doing those shows, when I want to use when I don't want the camera on, when we're doing those shows, then I'll put the no fly zone avatar on. If you guys understand. And the reason why I'm saying all that is because it got confused with people, because the way that avatar says, it says Big Lou no fly zone Ricans, and a lot of people such as Sea Dog, when I brought him on the no fly zone, he wasn't receiving with his email, he wasn't receiving the link, and so he was literally googling, or not googling, but searching on the YouTube for Big Lou no fly zone, and of course that's not going to come up because Big Lou's nowhere in the title of no fly zone. You know what I'm saying? So that's how all that started. And then I started putting what to do with Big Lou as my name, and you know, when I comment here, you know, it says Heather S for Heather and Marky Mark for Marky Mark. So when I would comment, it would say Big Lou no fly zone Ricans, and then it just confused people, you know. So then that's when I changed it to what to do with Big Lou, and then eventually people got it. I got a cheap Rubicon lifted on. Yeah, Rubicons are pretty nice, expensive whips too. Let's see. Damn. So I said I was only gonna be on 3-4 more minutes, and I've already pushed it 40 more minutes now. So I'm hungry too. Let's see. So I don't know if do you guys ever read the description area of the lives? Because a lot of times I put a lot to those, and if you guys don't read them, I won't do it no more. It says like this. It says privacy. What privacy? No such thing in there. No type, no way. Living quarters / living situations within your group segment, the homies, or when it comes to the administration, especially COs of your housing unit and yard COs. And then I said, let's get into it. So I don't know if you guys read those, but a lot of times I put a lot of effort in that. No, I'm playing. But it made a fire ass grilled chicken salad today. Ooh, that sounds good. What kind of dressing you use? I like Thousand Islands. What I was gonna say was, if you guys haven't already, I only got 5 here now. But if you guys haven't, it'd be highly appreciated if you hit the like button. And I appreciate each and every one of you guys for coming in. Marky Mark, Heather S, Mark M, my brother Carlos Muniz, JMSJ. Oh man, I don't even know if I said what's up to you. I think I did. If not, man, my apologies, JMSJ. Likewise with you and your family, brother. Let's see. I know Drito 5K came in. I know Steve Tortola came in. Farmetto came in. Rich DM 650. Bella, TX Royal Flowers. Tim Hennessy, Big Weddle Duran, Ant Muggs, Farmetto, IP, I Talk Family, Perez, I think that's about it. I know there's one or two more. La Puffy Ginn, Campbell Ford. What else we got here? Chris Trock. Oh, JP, whoever that is. I think there's one more that I'm. Let's see. Timmy Irish. I think that's the one I was missing that I didn't shout out. I think everybody else I got, even the people that don't comment, appreciate you guys as well. And a big shout out and an appreciation to those that come and watch the video after it's uploaded by YouTube. I thought that was a thumbnail. You thought what was a thumbnail? Basically, oil and vinegar, avocados, olives, cheese, oil, vin, chicken, and greens, fresh bacon. Back on my burpees shit too. Been in the gym boxing all last week. Gonna get 2, maybe 3 days in this week. What do you think was the thumbnail of Nick M? Marky Mark, what? Oh, Italian dressing. Italian dressing is cool, but it's got that sometimes that vinegar taste. But I like Thousand Islands. Thousand Island Ranch is cool, but Thousand Islands, what I did that one. What's the other one? French. French is orange too, ain't it? I believe so. But yeah, I'm still curious what Nick's talking about. He said, I thought that was the thumbnail. I don't know. Are you referring to the Marky Mark? I don't know. But is any questions anybody got or anything anybody else wants to talk about? Yep, French. The thing up top that you read. The thing up top that I read. Talking about this? You can see this? Can you see all that? I don't know. I didn't know you guys could. I don't know if that's what you're talking about. You said the thing up top that you read. I don't know. I just drug the thing down. I don't know if you can see that. If you guys, I didn't even know if you could. If you did, I don't know if that's what you're talking about. Uh, Man, I feel even weird tapping out with 7 people in here watching. You know what I mean? I know that don't sound like a lot to a lot of people. I know a lot of people will laugh. He gets 20 people, but you got to start somewhere. You know what I'm saying? And even though that people sub to you, I was talking to somebody today. There's guys that got 3,000, 4,000 subs, or 1,500, 2,000. But if you look at their videos, they're only getting like 30 to 50 views per video. Some guys maybe 100, 150. But basically what that just means is that they seen it's just it just basically means that people are subbing off a short they seen of yours, but they really don't watch. You know what I mean? They sub to you, but they don't watch. Now that's good and it's bad because you need the 1,000 subscribers in order to get monetized, but then you need the views too. You need the watch hours. You know what I'm saying? Like for example, I think I have 42,000 views, 43,000 views. That ain't nothing. But that has nothing to do with. That doesn't mean I got 43,000 hours of watch time. That just means that 43,000 views. That means that for a period of time, which it might only be like 10, 15 seconds, 30 seconds. I'm not sure what considers what view. It might only be 20, 30 seconds, and then you get a view out of it. I'm not sure. But you need 1,000 subscribers and you need 4,000 watch hours. You know what I'm saying? So a lot of people do a lot of shorts, and they get 1,000 views off those, 1,500 views, 3,000 views, 10,000 views. Those don't count towards your watch time. Shorts don't. You know what I mean? So then when the people finally get the 1,000 subs, they get a little disappointed because they thought that they're gonna get monetized. And that's not how it works. You have to get they have to actually be videos pre-recorded or lives that you get a bunch of views. Like, so I got a couple videos where I have over 300 views, and I'll keep it real. Those are my best videos. 300 view. I got one that's almost pushing 400. It's a John Gotti video. Actually, it's a John Jr. video. And then I got a John Gotti video where it's 300 and something. And then I have the one I did on Institutionalized, which is pushing in the 300s. It's well over 300. And then I have another one. The other one is it's another mob one, I think. And then I have I dropped a couple shorts. One about 3 nights ago. It's James Corden, the British dude that has one of the late night shows, the one that does the carpools where they rap or sing. He does it with Oprah, with Stephen Curry. Well, this one was about the Migos. It was with the Migos, and it was about him talking about Takeoff. And immediately I got like 1,000 views on it within 2 hours or something like that. And then it slowed down a little bit. I think right now, after 2 days, I got 1,600 views. And then I did one maybe 2 days before that on Charleston White. Same thing with that. It boom, took off. I got immediately a couple thousand views. And then it slowed down a little bit. And I still got 2,600, I think, or 2,400, 2,600, something like that views on that one little short. And it even showed that I forgot how they stated exactly, but it was okay. Let me see it that way, because I don't want to feel like I'm misleading somebody or saying something wrong here. So hold on, let me try to break it down. Let me see if I get this right. Okay. Okay, so this is what it says. It says views on this Charleston White from 6 days ago. I got 2,447 views on it, and it says 2,200 more than usual. And I got 11 subs off that little video, right? And it says that on an average it says audience retention. So this says 36 seconds, 116%. So it says on average, viewers watch 36 seconds or 116% of the short. Your viewers rewatch. So that means how can you have more than 100%, right? So it's only a 31-second video, right? 31-second video, and I'm getting 36 seconds. So that means that 116% are watching 5% more. And it says that 92% of this video, of my viewers on this video, found it in the shorts feed. 5% found it on YouTube search. So anybody that searched anything that's in the hashtag or Charleston White, they found it. 1% on the channel pages. Okay, that's that one. Okay. The one on the Migos, James Corden, speaking of Takeoff, okay, it says I got 1,733 views, 1,500 more than usual, right? I got 2 subs off this video, off the short, and it says that it's only a 15-second video, but viewers watch 17 seconds or 115% of the short. So that means they're watching they're watching it and then watching a couple seconds more of it, right? 93% was from the shorts feed, 5% from YouTube search, right? Okay. Then the other, I put two James Corden videos talking about Takeoff. It says 524 views off this video, 304 more than usual. I got 1 sub out of it, and it's been up there for 2 days. And it says on average, viewers watch 25 seconds or 70% of the short. So that short is 37 seconds long, and 70% are watching 25 seconds of it. So you got to look at all that when it comes to that. I dropped another Charleston White, 614 views on it. It says I have 394 more than usual. I didn't get no subs off this video, but on an average, viewers watch 16 seconds or 76% of the short, and the short is 21 seconds long. So you got to look in there too, and see what the attention span of the peoples are, and you know what I mean, go from there. So uh, you know, it is what it is. You know what I mean? There's a lot of things on there you got to look at when it comes to analytics. Um, you know, it is what it is. You know what I mean? It tells you everything. Like when people, when your audience is more active watching. But I didn't even have to look at that because every time I come on, like between 3 and 4 p.m., that's when I get my biggest audience. Good night, Big Lou. Got to put my sons to bed. Good night, chat. Yeah, thanks, Nick. Thanks for coming by. Thanks for always commenting. Thanks for the support. And hit that like button if you haven't already. And be sure to share the channel with your folks, man. Be highly appreciated. Privacy, what privacy? Yeah, that was the thumbnail. I don't know how it shows though, but there was the description. It wasn't the title of the video. It's the description, but I don't know how you guys see it. I don't know how you see it. I mean, I know if you go after the video, you can go into the description like that, but I don't know where it shows you guys uh, when I post, you know, the video. Like in other words, where I put out, okay, Big Lou's gonna go live at what to do with Big Lou at. So it's 7:42 right now, 10:42 if you're back east. Okay, so I'll put say 11 o'clock. Then I'm going live at 11 o'clock, 8 o'clock here. Okay, you guys will get that. But where is it that you see the description? Like whatever I didn't write, not the title, not where I say I live like this. Let's talk about it. Not that part, but the actual description where I open up and talk about the privacy, what privacy, that shit. That's what I don't know where you guys see it at. You know what I mean? So that's a trip, man. Almost an hour ago, I said I was going to end it in 3 minutes, and I ended up going another 54 minutes. Oh boy, it's a trip, huh? But you know, people don't have the attention span to stay on here for no 4 hours watching. You know, me on the other hand is different because I'm the MC, I guess. You know, I'm running this. My name is Tada, and I'm on this motherfucker. Ding. Remember that? It's a doggy dog world. Ooh, remember that? My name's Tada, and I own this mother. Anyways, never mind me. I'm catting out a little bit tired. You know what I'm talking about? You can always go to that excuse, people. If you're getting out there a little bit, I'm getting delirious. You can always say, hey, I'm tired, man. Didn't get much sleep last night. Feeling a little delirious. Feel me? Because we all got cat in us. Just more, some have more than others. If anybody tells you otherwise, they're full of straight shit. You feel me? All good in Hollywood. But like I said, everybody that stopped in, I appreciate you all. I already sounded you guys off one by one. And also anybody that comes in here later and watches it after it's uploaded, I appreciate each and every one of you guys as well. Feel free to comment in the comment section. At some point, I'll probably do maybe a Q&A or something. Anybody that's got any questions, ask me. I'll tell no lie. I'll tell you once, but I'll tell no lie. You know what I'm saying? Drop it in any comment section of any video. I'll get it. Any questions you guys got. You know what I'm saying? And with that being said, I'm going to go ahead and tap on out this time for Rizzo. You feel me? Tired. Big Lou's tired.